Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. I'm a little under the weather. Not really under the weather, but I feel like I'm getting strep throat. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be very difficult for me to talk a lot without congested and with phlegm, But something going on for sure. Something going on for sure. As we watch Game 4 of the Dodgers just annihilating the Yankees, two powerhouses, West Coast versus East Coast, all of that good stuff. Man, Yankees are they're fumbling, fellas. They're fumbling. The Dodgers are whooping ass. I mean, that's just they don't even need Otani. Don't even need him to hit. Don't even need him to pitch. It's just the Freddie Freeman show. Shout out to Freddie Freeman, man. That guy, game one. I grew up watching Barry Bonds, right? Collected a lot of newspapers when he was beating and breaking all these records, and he set the record. I have them framed, and that reminded me of a Barry Bonds moment. You know, um, that was fantastic. Freddie Freeman, that was probably one of the best home runs that I've seen in that particular moment. Fantastic, like Mr. October, and he's followed it out in game 2 and game 3 with home runs. Guy's impeccable. They as a Giants fan, I can't even hate, man. I'm not really a hater, so but that moment was great. Um, can't really call it, man. But I thought the Yankees would give them a good little fight. It'd be nice to go to Game 7, but by the looks of it, not even talking about this 2-0 lead that they have right now in the second inning, the Dodgers are just a better team overall. They can play the long ball. They can play small ball. You want to play hard ball and throw heat and hit nothing but home runs. Well, the Dodgers are beating them in that category. As overall, they just can match the intensity. And when you play against teams like the Padres and the San Francisco Giants for like the past decades, and the irrelevancy that the Yankees have given, more or less been when it comes down to postseason, then you've kind of seen it all if you're the Dodgers, right? The Dodgers players and the managers. So they've gotten accustomed to seeing guys like Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain, Ryan Vogelsong, Madison Bumgarner. When you see that, it's not really much that the Yankees can combat with, from a pitching and a small ball standpoint. When guys like every night, Pat Burrow and Cody Ross and Nate Scherholtz, when they can just come out clutch with these at-bats, you don't really fear an Aaron Judge that's on a slump, because it's a different type of game that they play in the National League versus the American League. At least, from National League West standings. Anyway, man, but I'm not here to talk baseball because it looks like it's not even going to be competitive. But what is competitive is this election that's going on in this world, right? Between the Democrats and Kamala Harris and the Reps and Donald Trump, man. It's very unsettling, uneasy times in America, as it is in every 4 years when it comes down to the election year. There's a lot of radicals, right? A lot of radical fan base, very extreme, irrational people that they put logic to the side, and it's all emotion and feelings, and it's a bit tiring, and you really start thinking to yourself, do you guys really want to get shit done? If so, I don't think none of these issues that they're tackling and having debates about. I mean, if you guys are supposed to be these Harvard people and Cambridge and Princeton and top tier people, and educates and grads and lawyers, a lot of these issues can be done and accomplished overnight. It's not fucking hard. Wow. Is that a 2-run jack right there to tie it up? Off the wall. Damn, number 11 can run. Oh, snap. It cut off? Nope. Damn. Nice base hit right there. That was beautiful extra bat. Anyway, man. So I just feel like a lot of these issues when it comes down to reinforcing the border and, that's one of the biggest issues, when it comes down to wars and even just like, I don't know, healthcare. All of these issues are very simple. Like, I don't think it takes a genius to get shit done. I just really don't look at it like that. When you have an established, when you have a checks and balances, um, there is an art to communication and negotiation, just like it is in terms of politics and being amicable towards one another and their decisions. But at the same time, it's like, bro, we got to get stuff done. This is very simple. It's not very complicated. Now, just like in a jury, I can only imagine the millions of people in the world. It's very tough to make people have all the same belief. And that's one of the things about the weakness and the frailties of being an American, is that we're trying to appease to too many factors, too many people, too many different cultures, that you're never going to make truly anybody happy, right? You just can't find the middle ground because we don't really have an identity, right? We don't really know what it really means to be an American. And a lot of people are very unappreciative of that, There's not no common core like elements. If I were to tell people what it means to be an American and just had a mic and a camera, I guarantee you it wouldn't be like, oh, we bleed red, white, and blue. Oh, we believe in country. Oh, the bald eagle. They wouldn't be able to tell us anything, And it would be like, American meat, football, and pigskin or whatever the case. They wouldn't be able. Everybody would tell us something completely different, right? When it comes down to the melting pot, things like that, there's no solidarity. Not in that type of situation. Again, it's very radical. So it makes times like these very unsettling, very flippant and like flip-flopping, and very emotional. And they put logic, reasoning to the side. It's ridiculous. The most ridiculous thing, asinine, just completely, I don't even know how to call it, guys. I'm just going to keep it polite. And much like the sport of boxing, you have a lot of radical fans that side with a guy like Ryan Garcia to spite Bill Haney and Devin Haney and the boxing establishment. A lot of people just side with Ryan, putting everything aside that he's done, the stuff that he says, just because he beat Devin Haney, right? Same thing like Donald Trump. They put everything that these two, gentlemen, these two men have done in their life as leaders, as in position of power, and they give them passes. It's very hypocritical. And honestly, whatever, if you are just a fan to the core, you're disgusted by these two creatures. Absolutely. You're disgusted and embarrassed for Donald Trump and who he tries to represent and appease to, even though he's an independent. And the same thing with Ryan Garcia. You shouldn't side with these people because of a lot of factors that we'll get to. But when I look back in 2016, right, it's very important how one speaks. I'm not saying that you have to be literate and, you can use slang and whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that how you go about in your speech and your rhetoric, when you're there at the podium, and the messages that you're trying to carry out that's going to reverberate through the hearts and minds and the ears of a lot of people, you have to tread lightly, because there is power in respecting of people and of cultures, right? You're a leader should not divide in order to be able to conquer. A true leader leads by example. A true leader understands that we are stronger as a whole rather than just the sum of parts. You get what I'm saying? So when I look back at that presidency, what Make America Great campaign, I thought that was very, very creative, a very good campaign, right? And you guys have guys like Jon Stewart and a lot, just ask the question, what do you mean by that, Trump? What do you mean by Make America Great again? And at that time in 2016, that campaign meant something completely different, I feel, and I believe, that it does now in 2024, 8 years later, right? But when I look back at the Trump presidency in the beginning, this man didn't really get anything done, right? He didn't really get anything done. There was no wars. Maybe he was pandering to the Russians and to North Korea and to China, right? These other powerhouses. But there was no wars. But there was one brewing internally in America. There was a civil war essentially occurring where this man had like his own militia, right? The Proud Boys, and there was all these riots with Antifa and all of these situations. And then you see things escalate towards like the revolution that some people would call it, or the storming of the Capitol, and this guy's reluctancy to, have the peaceful transfer of power to, you say, Joe Biden. This guy's a sore loser, right? But even about that, this guy, he didn't really care. Ooh, come on, Shohei. Damn, just a fly out. This man didn't really care about, he just said anything that came to mind. Very rude and disrespectful to cultures, to Latinos, to Mexicans, this guy, let me be honest with you, man. It was so dumb of a campaign. Not the Make America Great Again. I'm talking about like that whole situation where like Mexicans are rapists and all of these things, right? Because that's your neighboring state, right? Just look at an example right now that's going on with Russia and Ukraine. The biggest mistake that Russia is doing is having this war with Ukraine. It's your neighbor, fella. That's your neighbor, right? And what happens when you try to bully them? America's going to get involved. So if America and Trump try to bully Mexico, your neighboring state, your bordering state, guess who's going to help out Mexico? Japan, Russia, North Korea, China, right? Just because they know, man, if we can get Mexico and have this war between them, it's going to weaken the United States of America, much like it's happening in Ukraine and Russia, right? And essentially white people killing white people. It's ridiculous. Anyway, it's a different issue aside, but it's very important to really understand the divisiveness that the orange man is trying to put. So, man, let me catch my breath real quick. I need a brief. It'll be hella funny, dude. I never clicked live. Hold on, guys. I gotta pause this real quick because Freddie Freeman's on deck. My bad, guys. Just the Yankees are in the background, so I had to mute it. Just because I thought there was gonna be a home run from Freddie Freeman. Forgot where I left off. Hey, man, just a sidebar. One of the best games that I've ever played for the PlayStation 2 way back when I was a kid is Silent Hill 2. It just came out again about a week or two ago for the PlayStation 5. Guys, that's a must-have game. You must play it in 2024 graphics. Silent Hill 2. The remake is beautiful. It's fantastic. It's scary. It's very unsettling. And it did not let me down. That game is so fantastic. It's continued to be a great game. And yeah, man, I can't stress the importance of playing Silent Hill 2 in today's age. Going back to country, man. Before I start going too much about politics, man, Ryan Garcia, right? I don't know if this guy's a madman or a genius. Maybe a little bit of both. But that whole situation, the whole revelation, and all of the situations that unfolded post the victory that he had against Devin Haney, that's now ruled to a no contest. He played everybody like a fiddle, man. That guy was quite radical, and it worked for him. While everybody, including myself, thought that he was spiraling out of control, and I believe that he still is. He was able to, he created the chaos first and foremost. Okay, he created the chaos. He lived in it. He brewed it, and more importantly, in the chaos that he created, he was able to control it. Right? They're synonymous with one another. Then that's usually how it goes. Anyway, this chaos that Ryan created, he was able to control and come out on top of it, right? With all of the stuff that was going on in his household, the divorce, his radical speeches, not being able to make way, all of these things. To anybody that's going through something real like that, it's supposed to get you out of your element. You're not able to train properly, right? Whole mind, body, and spirit situation. It looked like Ryan was like, man, this guy needs to be in a psych ward, right? But with the mess that Ryan was creating, he controlled it, and he was able to rise to the occasion. I've never seen anything like that before. It was quite. It's a very interesting documentary if they made it. And he was able to beat Devin Haney, a man who beat George Kambosos twice, defended against Lomachenko. And while I thought Loma beat Devin, the point is that he fought Loma when Loma didn't want to give Devin Haney the opportunity. And that to me was commendable. I don't really care about winners and losers so much as long as it's a great, in terms of sport, as long as it's a great spectacle, right? Like, was I entertained? Was it a very good fight? Is it something that I'll be able to see proudly? And I thought Devin, as an undisputed champion, defending against Loma, I thought he fought with great honor, right? And Loma fought valiantly. It was great. It was a great showing. When it came down to the decision, I didn't really quite agree with it, but I realized that it was a close fight. It was very. You can flip-flop all of these rounds. Devin starts off good. Loma lands a good couple of flurry of punches. I mean, the thing about Loma fans is this. A lot of people thought that Lomachenko, and Lomachenko himself, thinks that he beat Teofimo Lopez. I didn't think so at all. I mean, you spotted the man 6 rounds. You circled around like Oscar De La Hoya did against Felix Tito Trinidad in the championship rounds, like Keith Thurman did against Danny Garcia. So I found the Lomachenko fan base to be really illogical and radical. I was like, dude, this is one of the most easiest fights to score, and it's mainly because of your inactivity. Anyway, right, when it came down to Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez, I agree, the Mexican G. Teofimo completely outclassed Lomachenko, And it's not so much that Teofimo was that superior. It's just like, Loma, dude, you ain't going to get these rounds doing that. Like, bro, in what world, bro? This is professional prize fighting, undisputed, all of them belts on the line. What the hell are you doing? Anyway, so I gave a lot of credit for Devin because this man had credibility and integrity. He fought Linares, didn't look so good. He was dominant, got caught with a punch, damn near hugged this dude like it was his goodnight pillow, to go mimis for the next 9 championship rounds. Then he fought Kambosos when Teofimo didn't want to. And I was like, come on, Teo, fight Devin, bro. Just fight Devin. Why are you doing this? He didn't want to, right? And then Devin went to Australia 2 times. Once after beating him, shit, guys, give me a second. I got to get some enchiladas. My mom brought me some enchiladas. Drew, if you're here, you got to hold it down. All right, bro. Give me a second, bro. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man.
Give me a second, brother.
All right. Yeah, man. I'm not sure what you guys were talking about before this, but I listened to this guy talk about like Tio and Loma. Hey, between me and you guys, this guy's like low key the biggest fucking hater of fucking Crawford. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, man, that Tio fight shocked us all. That's when we found out who Tio was. You know, like he showed his class, and he did it again with Josh, bro. So can't really hate on Tio, man. Can't really hate on Tio or Loma. I think they're both Hall of Famers. Tio did outclass Loma. Um, but Loma was actually coming back towards the later rounds, if you don't remember. And
Yeah, I remember
I feel
something like
like
that.
I feel like if he kept that same energy from the second half of the fight and carried and put that in the first half along with the second half,
Yeah,
he would have beat Tio,
I
but
agree for sure.
yeah, so it's all about it's not that Loma didn't have that in him. I'm telling you, bro. It's boxing is a chess match.
Mhm.
Boxing is a chess match, and I don't know how to explain it in chess terms, but I was gonna say he brought out the king right like right away, you know, and Tio did, but Loma he was just using his pawns, you know, or is that what they call 'em? Yeah,
Mhm.
um, yeah, and he was just using those, you know, and he didn't use the same right game plan, man. So as you can see, he was not dominating, but he was beating Tio like fair handedly in the second half, but you know, Tio edged it out, and it's a chess match, man. It's a chess match, and
Let me ask you something,
yeah,
Drew.
man. I have no what happened?
Now you're good. You're good. You're cooking, bro. You cooking. Let me
Yeah,
ask you a
yeah,
question.
yeah.
So the Niners beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night, and the reason I bring this up is because, and the reason for this topic of the video is
Mm,
because the homie Nick Bosa, you know, in the after the results of the game, you know, they do this whole press conference, post, you know, game conference analysis, and they're handing out basically these WWE belts. One to George Kittle, one to Brock Purdy, and I think the other one was Fred Warner. I don't remember who the third weapon was. And Nick Bosa, you know, photo bombs the spotlight a little bit, and yeah, no, I was gonna show this stuff. And he photo bombs the spotlight a little bit. And you know, he has this gold Make America Great Again hat, you know, because Nick Bosa is a big fan of Donald Trump and stuff like that. And, you know, I just want to pick your brain about it. Do you think much about it? Do you think that it's this whole Colin Kaepernick situation all over again with the Niners? It'll cause
huh?
distractions or
No,
no?
no, he's not doing anything. First of all, mm, like he's trying to time it up, right? He wasn't doing this before. He wasn't. Um, he never really came out with anything with Trump up until right now, and it's we're a week away, I believe, from all
Right.
that, and it's very important. It affects everything. I don't know if I disagree or agree with it. Um, just because I mean you believe what you believe in, but he's ready to pay for that fine. That's for sure. I guess the rules say that you can't really do that. So yeah, he's getting fined, but I think he knew it. I think he
Did
knew it, and he caused a good stir. And he came on accident. Supposedly. So you do what
do
you
you
do, man. It's
remember?
not like the thing is he's not interrupting anything. Like the game's finished. It's not like I feel like Kaepernick. He was I guess he wasn't doing it the right way. I think there's ways around it. Like Nick, it wasn't really saying much about it. He was just saying it's a very important time, and it didn't really sound personal. I mean, not to say that with Capital was personal or anything, but you know, you made it personal just because you did it during the national anthem, and it's like it's different ways around that. Like yeah, we get the movement, but and we've seen it happen in 2020, but it's like I don't know, like I felt like it was more of a uh it was more of a what's it called it was a distraction. It was a distraction just because like he didn't really like I don't know, like he just kind of made everything controversial, and he didn't really tell anybody about it up until it got big, and then he started talking about it, and then like he kept it to himself type of thing. And you know like I feel like most of his teammates were behind him for support, but it's like bro, you better start playing like it. It's like I don't know, he got out the league because he was not playing good, not because of all that. Like
Correct.
I think that's one of the that's a huge conspiracy, bro. Like the fact that he thinks that he's better than 32 quarterbacks or even the backup quarterbacks. It's like, bro, give the guys that are coming up a chance because there's only 32 fucking jobs. and you're not doing your thing. You had your opportunity. Got to work your way up, and you're not doing it. So, um, like at least like play good. I don't know. It's I guess you don't have to play good to do all that, but I feel like there's better ways to protest, bro. Way better ways. Like he didn't wear no shirt. He just stood on one knee and we questioned it. We're like, what happened? What happened? And he goes, this happened, and it's like, oh, okay, why didn't you just say anything then? Wear a shirt or something. With Nick Bosa, we get what he's trying to do. It's nothing, it's nothing subliminal. And then it kind of like, his intentions are clear, you know. And with Kaepernick just taking a knee, it's like, what are you doing? Now you come and then you come out and hold on, hold on. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Yeah, man. A couple of things. Um, Morpheus goes, Trump's Ryan's baby daddy. I thought Colin Kaepernick was extremely effective. If you missed the
Go
beginning,
ahead. Yeah.
Morpheus, it's basically we were talking about Nick Bosa, a 49er player, basically wearing a Make America hat, and he showcased it, after the Niners beat the Dallas Cowboys. But no, man, to your point, I thought Kaepernick's stance was very effective. And that's why ultimately he's out of a job. He played on remember, so we're going to preface this for a little bit. Kaepernick, when he first came into the league, he dominated, mainly with his legs and his strong arm. And, he was very clear cut and he would kiss his biceps. And a lot of people, because this guy had tattoos, a lot of people were like, man, we're glamorizing this. So a lot of people were in love with Colin Kaepernick, and other people hated him immediately because of his tattoos. They would tell him to wear a sleeve because he plays on such an iconic team. The quarterback position is predominantly a white position, and hide those tattoos, right? So that used to be some of those talking points for some people, and they were turned off. Now, as the Niners started, and there was these things going on, even like during George Floyd and all of these riots, Kaepernick decided to be political, and he took a knee during the national anthem, during the moments of the flag. And that was very impactful. You see, a lot of
Well,
people
he did it before that.
Right. And a lot of people did it. They did not allow him to just shrug it off and be like, they fucking went after him. And they continue to go after them. Now, I think you said something that the league will find Bosa. I don't think the league fined Colin Kaepernick when he was taking a knee. I think they let him play out the year. They ultimately realized that he was being a distraction, and the Niners cut ties with him at the end. But I don't think they fined Colin Kaepernick, because what are you going to find him about? During this time, he wasn't tied. He didn't have cornrows. He let his nappy hair show out, like a free spirit. And the look, right? The Black Panther, right? The look and the taking of the knee during an American game, during the national anthem, put a lot of people off. And they basically were gunning after Colin Kaepernick, right? So I don't think they'll find Nick Bosa, nor should they.
And also what it is, it's a everyone was 50-50 about it. Like you said, everyone was supporting him, and there were those people supporting him, and there was people coming after him.
Right.
And I feel like it affected their ratings. So I feel like once they
correct.
Once you've seen
where the problem lies. But let me tell you this. That's where the problem lies right there. It was affecting the ratings, and they were like, you're either going to get this dude out of the league, or we're not going to watch you.
Yeah.
Right? It was like the same thing. Absolutely. It was like the same thing with Coors Light. They started like making like these commercials pandering to like the gay community, or I think it was Bud Light. And then these men drinkers were like, fuck you guys, we'll go into this other company. And it affected business, and that's why they cut those messages. Because the bottom line is all about money. So anyway, I bring these topics up because, during election year, a lot of the stuff becomes very tumultuous, and a lot of people choose sides. And coupled with Nick Bosa wearing the Make America Great Again hat, during the post conference, which again, I don't necessarily think it's a big deal. I feel like
Yeah, me
if
neither.
you have a platform and you're an athlete and a very good athlete, you can reach millions of people, right? Use your platform and you are allowed to get political. I feel that is the greatest platforms because if we look at one of the greatest athletes, who they're better winners than, but they know him as the greatest athlete of all time, Muhammad Ali, he was extremely political. And he got banned from the sport 2 or 3 years essentially out of his prime, for being a conscientious objector during the Vietnam War and all of these things. So when I look back at Colin Kaepernick, his stance was extremely strong and political, and it was very good. The problem is, I felt like his brother in arms, his other rest of the players, they failed him. Not just the Niners players like Eric Reed that took a stance with him. I think there was times, but like Frank Gore, Vernon Davis, Patrick Willis, Bowman, they should have all taken a knee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel Ray Lewis and all these other guys from these other teams, they should have been following Colin Kaepernick, but they didn't. They didn't want to affect the bottom line and the money for the injustices that was going on in the world, right? These men stand alone. So I preface this because, Nick Bosa made a stance, but more importantly, a Latino family wore a Make America Great Again hat, a red one, to the Niner game. And I guess, now I don't know exactly what happened as the end result, but the security there, the event staff, did not want to let them go and watch the game because of the hats. They told them to take it off, and that they weren't allowed into the stadium. And I don't think that's right. Now, again, I feel that if football players don't talk about the real life issues, then they're cowards. That's the way I look at it. If there is an issue and you're very informed about it, talk about it, right? Without putting people's lives at harm. Which is a simple conversation. But see, this is what I'm going to tell you. Conversations and the messenger and the message are extremely important. Because if a message in war is not delivered, it can escalate to pressing of the button, the atomic button, right? If the messages be like, no, dude, stop. We came down to a solution. There's that whole saying, do not kill a messenger, right? Because if you don't allow that person to deliver the message, either wars can escalate or they can de-escalate. It's very important. So with messages and words, you have to tread carefully because it can affect a lot of things. Anyway, so I thought Colin Kaepernick was he was allowed to do the stance and it paid him his job. It costed him his job, correction. And whether at the end was a great thing or not, that's up to Colin Kaepernick and the money that he saved up post afterwards. But I thought he had a very honest stance and an innocent stance, and he wasn't hurting people, but a lot of people were offended because at one point people loved Colin Kaepernick, and they felt the ultimate betrayal when he started, voicing his opinion. Now, just like because you can voice your opinion doesn't mean that it can go against the grain and that you could be wrong and that, there's going to be things that are going to affect you and the bottom line, like losing your job, right? So everything has a consequence. Just because you have the right to speak, it has a consequence. Now, going back to guys like Donald Trump and Ryan Garcia, right? The whole point of politics and speech and videos and all of these things. So Trump, in his first couple of 4 years, he said a lot of stuff in terms of running his campaign, calling Mexicans rapists and all of these things, and they're taking our jobs. And this was his rhetoric, his divisiveness, his conquering and divisiveness speech to reinforce the border, right? And I just feel like that was not very effective because you can't attack a Hispanic culture and it create Hispanophobia when a lot of things in this world, in this United States of America, there is a big, Latino, Hispanic, Mexican culture here, influence, and in the military, and there's your neighboring state. You can't be using that type of speech because it's not going to be very effective, which is why he was never truly able to kick off the funding of his wall. Now, a lot of people be like, well, the numbers say that, there was, but, in terms of immigration coming in and stuff like that, that it was effective, whatever the case may be. but that's not how you get things done, right? In terms of today's climate. Back in the day, it would have worked with like Manifest Destiny and things of that, and then you go to war and you basically eradicate the Native Americans. But in today's day and age, it's not going to allow you to happen. Because conversely, a lot of Republicans, like guys like George Bush, are married to like Mexican and Latino women, and vice versa. Guys like J.D. Vance, the vice president, the guy who's running for vice president under Trump, he's married to essentially an immigrant family as well. So it's very fickle. You got to be really careful in how you speak your messages. Now, going back to Ryan Garcia, how do you look at Ryan Garcia in today's day and age, Drew?
How do I what?
How do you look at Ryan Garcia? Are you a fan of him? Are you embarrassed? Are you disgusted about what he's created in the sport of boxing with the whole Victor Conte snag, drug testing, cheating essentially one of his childhood friends in Devin Haney? What do you feel about him?
I don't know. I feel like he's actually I don't know, like he's actually out of his mind a little bit, bro. I think sometimes he acts a little weird, like around certain people, and I just feel like pressure gets to him, bro. Like when people like speak to him in public on camera, like he's really just, I don't know, he's something different, man. Oh, that was a good shot by Jesse Vargas. My bad. I'm watching this fight. It was a good fight. But yeah, yeah, Ryan Garcia, this is the thing, like his overall work of his overall work, like he's a good boxer, bro. Like he actually could very well be like one of the best fighters, like pound for pound in the world, bro. Like he has damn, Bradley lost. I didn't know Bradley lost.
He didn't.
He didn't.
No, but it was a premature stoppage from the ref, and they fucked it up. But you don't remember this?
Nah, I don't. I don't. I don't. But yeah, fucking Ryan could very well be one of the best, like 147 pounders in the world, bro. Like he has the size to do it. It's just that he doesn't want to fucking learn. He doesn't want to actually get better. He wants to maintain, and he wants to stay the same, so that's not gonna get him far, bro. Like I think in the rematch, bro, he probably will lose to Devin, but I don't think they're ever gonna fight though. I don't think they're ever gonna fight, and that's one of those things where Ryan can get his respect back, because and maybe he apologizes for what the fuck he says, because he's still gonna get confronted about certain things, bro. Like he's said some pretty racist stuff, bro, along with Tio, So I think one day they need to come to realization and say, "Fuck, I fucked up," And yeah, man, I think Ryan has a couple of steps of like he has some steps to go through in order to get our respect back, and I just feel like right now it's hard for him to get the black fan, the black fan to really side with him, bro, because he's
Does
just
he owe the black fans an apology?
yes, he does, and he says some pretty bad words, bro. Like you don't.
Yeah. So when he antagonizes them and he goes onto these podcasts and just calls them nigga, 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 he just goes on like fucking 50 words. It's just like, bro, you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Would you even accept his apology if he tried to apologize? Would it even be sincere?
He has to say it, and then we have to see by his actions, So
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I feel like men when they're wrong, and more importantly, guys like Ryan Garcia, guys like Trump, they're too pompous, they're too egotistical to ever really apologize.
yeah.
Right? I don't think they will ever apologize. I don't think Teofimo will ever apologize.
Yeah, he
And
said
my
it
thing
twice.
is, I don't think Teo nor Ryan have to say those things. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you look cool. It doesn't make you look tough. Honestly, it just makes you look like a fucking asshole. You see, a lot of people are fans of Ryan Garcia. Black people are African Americans. They're fans. Tank fans are fans of Ryan Garcia. You get what I'm saying?
It just makes you look
And
like
it
you
was
have
even
a heart
more
full
so
of hate.
bad because I'm pretty sure a few of them bet money on Ryan to beat Devin Haney, and they won their parlays, and they won big. They got the bag betting on Ryan. You know what I mean? But this isn't like a coon test where like, oh man, I earned bread with Ryan, bro. I can't go back against him. No, dude. At the end of the day, it's about self-respect. It's about just human respect. You see? I don't know if you watched the beginning of the video, Drew, but I'm a little sick, man. I feel like I'm getting even sicker. But so just bear with me, fellas. I apologize for like coughing and messing up the flow. But Ryan Garcia, look, the way I look at it is like this. He cheated one of his childhood friends in Devin Haney when they've known each other and competed against each other multiple times in the amateurs, and he cheated him. Not only did he cheat him on purpose, right? A couple of times, paying, these penalties for coming over in weights. Devin and Bill received the money to be fairly compensated for giving you the upper hand for your failure to go, because they were thinking, man, Ryan's going and spiraling out of control. He's going through this divorce with his woman, all of these things. They gave you a pass, bro, because they didn't think that you would use drugs to beat them again. They get, not again, but to beat them. They already gave you a pass, 3-4 pounds overweight, because they felt sympathy towards you, because you're going, you're trying to battle, and fight for the rights for these kids that are going missing, and pedophilia and all of these things. All right, you have a great cause, and then in the midst of it, you're losing your wife and maybe custody of your kids and spiraling out of control. The Haneys feel sympathy towards you, and they're like, yeah, dude, just give us this bread. Let's get the show on the road. Let's not cancel. Let's make money together. And then they failed the test again for possibly microdosing throughout the whole way. I don't exactly know, but it's good enough that Ryan didn't want to fight for it, and he settled to be suspended over a year, paid a fine to Golden Boy $1 million, paid $10,000 to the New York State Athletic Commission, all of these things, and you didn't fight it. Your innocence, right? That's what Ryan did. But ultimately, like, put all of the politics and the things aside. Now you're just throwing dirt on them even more so, when you don't need to, antagonizing a group of people in this country. And Devin Haney, like, bro, Ryan will never apologize. And I feel like Ryan should apologize. You know what I mean? And his lack of, failure to do so ultimately has, I don't know, I would say has costed his sanity, his innocence, the likable appeal, right, to the masses. Okay, bro, you're good looking, you're a Christian guy, supposedly, you're this honorable person that can, get girls and kick ass. But now you're being despicable because of your rhetoric, of your speech, of what it is that you choose to stand for, in which you don't need to do that. If you want to be all about injustice, that they're going after a Christian guy who beat this talented fighter, go through that. But then in the midst of it, this dude is like, it's hard to, vote for this dude and like hope he comes out, unscathed, because it's like, bro, you're walking out on these streets very reckless, attacking all of these people as women, like Caleb Plant, their wives, and all of these things. It's like, bro, it's not cool to be disrespectful. Now, you can be savvy and have epic wordplay and clown people and troll people. That, like Oscar's doing to Eddie Hearn, that's all fair in competition and rivalry. That's cool. But what Ryan is doing is borderline embarrassing and hella ignorant, right? Much like when Trump, was repping the Republicans, and the same thing, calling all of these Hispanic people, murderers and rapists. It's like, bro, you can be very effective not using that language. And it was still very effective because it pandered to a lot of crowd that felt that type of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, when you look at boxing and, worldwide, it's like a very microscopic level that is just like, damn, bro, this shit kind of carries over from sport into real life. So like going back to like Nick Bosa and Colin Kaepernick and all of these athletes like Muhammad Ali taking stances, I feel like they have a great big responsibility on a following and a platform to really get political. Like, feel free. If you guys all went to college. Most of those football players all went to college. They went to top tier premier schools, right? So use your fucking education and have a great dialogue. But yeah, you guys choose to, be on podcasts and talk about how, yeah, man, yeah, y'all kicked our ass, bro. Like, it's talking about film study. That's good too. I mean, you guys are athletes, but be more, right? That's why Muhammad Ali is revered as one of the greatest, if not the greatest athletes, because he wanted to do more. And he stood on business and he stood on a ground and a foundation that reached the hearts and minds
Yeah,
of millions.
bro. I just seen and now that you said that, like the past couple of days, I've been seeing a Muhammad Ali fucking videos of him just sparring and fighting. Dude, he was good, bro. Like he
Hell
wasn't just
yeah, he was good.
no like he like I just thought he was like the first like black, athlete to win gold, you know, like in the Olympics. And I just thought he was like his refusal to go to the army, or during the World War got him a lot of headlines. I felt like that was a lot of the reason why. And he like stood up for what he believed in, and he was like, "Nah, I ain't going to war." And that's why he went Muslim or something like that, right? Like, and so went by Muhammad. And yeah, dude, I was like, wow. And then I seen sparring video. I was like, damn, bro, like he was fluid with it, bro. Like he was really using the science of boxing, bro, and he understood it for in and out, And yeah, bro, I fucking love watching old school
Oh yeah, no,
Muhammad
he
Ali
he
videos,
was
bro.
he was superb, man. Not only was he
Dude,
a consummate professional, he was very detailed in his craft. He
yeah.
was very methodical, very cerebral as well, psychological. Like this dude would call guys like I forgot exactly who he called ugly, but he was like, "Man, you big and dark and ugly," and like he would very like that thin line of racism to his own brother, but it was like fighting words, and like how he said it with a rhyming scheme, and like this guy, he yeah, man, he was extreme, and he stood on principle, and yeah, once he realized Cassius Clay was a slave owner last name and his family, yeah, he's like, nah, man, I'm gonna convert into Muslim and I'm gonna, change my name to Muhammad Ali. And he was with like the 5%ers, and he was a conscientious objector against the Vietnam War. There was so much things that he stood for. And during that time of the Civil Rights Act and all of these things, he was one of those faces next to, Martin Luther and old boy Malcolm X and stuff like that. So this dude was very influential and powerful. So when we preface this with Colin Kaepernick and all of these things, I feel like they let Colin Kaepernick down. I mean, some people saw him as a social activist. He ended up making like a child's book. He went on to these, he had this movement. So I thought he was extremely effective. I just felt like other people didn't want to back him up. And I felt like his own people failed him. They made him stand alone. And there was only a few brave ones like Eric Reed that, they were like, nah, I'm gonna back up my brother. But anyway, man, um, going back to like politics and all this stuff, have you gone out and voted yet?
Nah, no, I got my letter, the mail. And I'm gonna do it by mail so I can take my time. And this is not just the president, it's other things too.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna do it. I only got a couple of days left, I believe. I think right. I forget how many days I got left, but I know I need to get to it. But yeah, dude, I got the mail right here, ready to go. What about you?
Yeah, man. I voted. I want to say like 2-3 weeks ago. I got
Okay.
it through the mail and I dropped it off over there in East Alisal in the library.
Mhm.
And then I dropped it off in one of those like public ballots, voting posts, little mailboxes.
Yeah.
And I was just reading and seeing that in certain areas they're setting them on fire and destroying them.
What?
The voting booths where you submit your letter into the mail.
Oh wow.
So I'm telling you, bro, this is war, bro. Like what's going on, it's like, so these tabs, you had a little image, comment like, hey, peep Ricky's tabs. Okay, so let me just pause this Ruben Villa situation. So I was just reading some stuff, you know what I mean, and I totally forgot that when the votings came in, Trump didn't want to relinquish. So usually I want to say you open your arms, but there's this thing called the peaceful transfer of power to the next, voted on president. And Trump was like, "Oh man, these are lies. The voting booths, the numbers, the polls, they were rigged." And he was like, he didn't want to leave the White House. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that type of radical behavior, right, is why he's not fit to be a leader, amongst other things, right? Like, again, during his presidency, he didn't really do much. You know what I mean? And so, like, his third and final year, he was met with, I don't know, in my 30 years of existence, there was, I mean, this was the coronavirus. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's like the bubonic plague, but it was like a plague, bro. You know what I mean? It was a lot of people were dying, a lot of jobs were closed. You know, you had to have permission to go to work. It was called like not a disposable worker. It was like somebody like essential workers. You know, a lot of people worked from home. Like, it changed the dynamic of relationship with man and technology. A lot of people were in their own world, in their own solace, and confused. And when I look at how this guy downplayed it, I remember Mikey, bro. He was telling me like this. There's this thing going on in China, and he showed me
When?
wipey tape, like those like Lysol wipes that you get to like disinfect. And then they're like, yeah, dude, look at this. And it said like coronavirus, it kills off coronavirus. And I remember, you know, the timeline. There's websites that you can go onto, and all of the speeches and quotes that Trump said in regards to the coronavirus, how he downplayed it and how he didn't really care about it. So supposedly, I don't know how true it is because I don't work in politics in the political field, but supposedly there are these plans, right? That, for example, if we were to be invaded by aliens, we have certain folders that we have like protocol, right? Like, okay, if during an alien invasion, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna set up the food banks and camps, and you know, we're gonna keep our people and our citizens healthy and armed, or whatever. Let's just say Army, the National Guard is. We have precedents of what we have. Well, this guy downplayed all of it, didn't really care. He was like, dude, it's just like a common flu. You know, this is nothing. And then next thing you know, boom, 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 boom. People are dropping like flies. Businesses are shutting down. People have to relocate. This dude had no plan for it. And then there was a storm of the Capitol. And then when this dude fucking lost, he didn't want to give the transfer of power to Joe Biden. Right? Joe Biden immediately, right? Like, again, early presidency during Trump, he didn't really do much, right? He didn't really do much. But towards the end, it was fucking chaos, bro. Not controlled chaos that he started. He couldn't even control it no more. It was just like, all right, dude, we booted out of here. Then they fucking vetoed him out, which I think they've only done once prior to that. And then Biden came, and he had basically like a reparation plan. He had the COVID stimulus checks. He had the military giving people food, milk, you know, all of these things. And this guy opened up the country. So I thought Biden did extremely well during his presidency, right? And it was like a healing process. Because this guy had the stimulus COVID checks. He had the military giving out people food. Like, there was structure. There was protocol. And he followed it to the letter. And he instantly made the vaccine. Or, you know, that was like his thing. That was his big battle. I'm going to open up the world. We're going to reinforce you guys. We're going to get America back strong and going. Right? No divisiveness. It was just like, I'm going to get you back. Like, I got you guys' back. I'm going to help you guys grow. Boom. I thought he did fucking good, bro.
So, hey, so you voted for Kamala?
All right, so we're gonna get to this. We're gonna get to this. So when it comes down to Biden, I thought they played him, bro. I thought he did extremely well. And yeah, he sucked in the debate against Donald Trump. It showed that he was like, I want to say feeble-minded, but you know, it showed that he was older. But he is older. But he doesn't necessarily have to be the face and the pillar of strength, but the older generation have a place in this world. You know what I mean? They have so much wisdom that the wisdom that they lose is much more that we can gain at our very young age. So I felt they just shoved them off to the side and just put Kamala Harris in. We didn't get to vote for her. Now, she's the vice president, you know, so I know that there's like these other regulations that go about that being, you know, like if a president was shot and killed, you know, the VP basically takes office and they're under oath and all these things. I get it. But it's like, we still have time to vote. Let her go up against one of the Kennedy brothers or Robert Kennedy or whoever the other people that were running or up against another independent. You know, they didn't. They just gave it to her. And all of these super PACs started funding her, boom, boom, boom. And then you never heard about Joe Biden, bro. And I was like, bro, that's crazy. I've never seen anything like that. You know? So to answer your question, and this is more of a philosophical question, and I'm going to be straight up with you. I didn't vote for her. I didn't vote for the orange man either. You know what I mean? I left it blank.
Damn, yeah, dude. I'm thinking about doing the same thing.
I left it blank because, you know, I do feel that a lot of these things, I guess you can call me a flip-flopper. You know what I mean? I just kind of go with logical reasoning. And I don't feel right voting for her in because I do believe in democracy. And I don't feel right at all voting for this dude because of what he stands for and the history that I'm telling you of how bad he was. You get what I'm saying? Like, I still want Joe Biden to be the president for the next 4 years because I feel like he did a really good job. And I can tell you why he did a good job. I just explained a couple of examples. You get what I'm saying? So when I look at these situations and what's going on in this world, I left that part blank. I essentially voted for everything else and left the presidency blank. You know what I mean? But I'm going to go into the philosophical aspect. Males, we are not comfortable here in the United States to let women lead us. Right? We are not comfortable. During this patriarchy system, you know, most of the time, and even though the times are changing, if I were to tell you, hey, Drew, in your household, who calls the shots? Does the nurturing mother that's been with you and been the harbinger of hope and reason and emotion of why you go to work every single day to provide as a son or whatever the case may be, would you be okay with her leading? Or do you feel like, no, I led this household or my father does? You get what I'm saying? So in this country, we're not okay. We see it as weakness. We see it as, oh man, we're inferior to the woman. You know what I mean? So they don't let her lead. Like, it's one of the reasons, like, if we look back to Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton back in 2006, the reason a lot of people didn't vote for Hillary Clinton was, oh, she's a dirty politician. She's corrupt. We can't vote for her, right? That was like one of the things. She shreds all these papers and look what she did. But yeah, you guys don't hold that same reasoning towards Donald Trump, who's done that and much worse. So what's your excuse with Kamala Harris? What's the excuse this time? She's not like Hillary Clinton. Oh, because she locks up people and gives them hard sentences for smoking weed while she smokes weed. Okay, so it's the lesser of two evils here. But is it as bad as Hillary Clinton? And then was it as bad as Donald Trump and what he's done? So you see what I'm saying? When it comes down to these excuses to not get a woman in there, oh, they can throw you the whole fucking Bible book at you and just be like, nah, bro, look what she did, what she is, what she stands for. No. You see what I'm saying? Me, it's very simple. We didn't vote her in. She was VP. She didn't run as a president. Let me get a different, you know, cast of people that I can vote for. Hold on, let me see if Drew is. No, you're still there. My bad.
Oh yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
I thought Speed was gonna hop on.
Yeah, man. Get on, Speed. Damn.
So when I look back in the
situation, you're more like slow.
Nah, man. A lot of people forget, and I understand during the beginning there is this empowerment that Trump is kind of like an independent running with the Republican side, and he doesn't have these donations, and he doesn't answer to people, and he has that liberty. Yes, but at what cost? You see, one of the things is there's liberty in being sovereign, right, and being independent, but also this balance of checks and balances and powers and stuff like that. It's very important, right, because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you honest. It doesn't just allow a dictatorship, right, and fascism and things of that nature. And that's what that man stands for, and amongst other things. So I just find it very ironic and hypocritical that they criticized Hillary Clinton that she wasn't fit to lead because of all this corruptedness that she has. But yet somehow guys that are like supposed to be super smart, like Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk, they don't see that same hypocritical reasoning with Donald Trump. So to answer your question, I left the presidency blank. Maybe I did in injustice, because then he'd be like, well, you already know it's the lesser of two evils. Kamala is lesser. But again, the understanding that she didn't get voted in to represent the Democrats as a president, not a VP, is completely different. Where people actually allowed the campaign of Donald Trump to go in, and he was voted in, whether I like him or not. You know what I mean? That's beside the point. But yeah, man. What about you? How are you waving? You know, are you catering to any particular side? You know, how is politics always gone in your household, man?
Now I'm thinking about doing the same thing, but I was leaning towards Trump. I was leaning towards Trump just because, in my opinion, I think the economy did shitty. Uh, I think I think that's a good way of looking at it. How you're looking at it, it's like a recovery phase that we need to go through, um, because it was so bad. You know, like it's 2016 to 2020, but it really went downhill towards 2020. Um, I just feel like they needed things to go bad in order for Trump not to win presidency again, and it went bad. I mean, like honestly, so many people got rich because of him, um, and so many people got poor because of him, obviously. But I don't know. Like I just feel like there was no way around it. That was one of those things where we could have had a Democratic or a Republican president, and it wouldn't have mattered. This shit was inevitable. Uh, just because
What was?
the virus was inevitable. Like it was going to happen, bro. Um, I just feel like the way the world is spinning and all this stuff. Like I can go down the rabbit hole. I just feel like people were gonna get sick. We were due for that, just like how we're due an earthquake. Um, we were due for like a pandemic, just because we've gotten so populated throughout the past 100 years.
Yeah.
Um, like there's been a lot of there's been a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Advances in humanity, and there's been a lot of transportation and exchange of items, um, things that we get from there's things that you have in your closet we get from China, and back then it wasn't really like that. Everything was American made back in the day. But now we've gone overseas, and now we got shit from overseas that we have that were it can be a blanket, it can be anything. So it's shit like that, bro. Like our human advances um us to this point where you know um where we can get everything online, and we're getting it from an unknown place. So it's shit like that, and I think we're due for a a pandemic, just because we've had it with the Spanish flu. So um yeah, bro. It's just like I just feel like it was with Donald Trump. um I think he's gonna make people rich again, but I also feel like everything is inevitable. I just feel like this is rich people problem. I feel like, and I feel like people
What's
like
rich people problem?
I almost feel like the presidential race is a rich people problem. Just because if you're not a rich people problem, a business owner problem. Because if you're a business owner, you're affected. Big or like at a bigger, I don't know, like there's more consequences. I feel like I don't know. But as for like a regular person like me who just has a job, and I don't have shit like that. Like it's like like shit does I don't really know what's happening. As far as like who's passing laws and what's being affected and all this shit. I feel like everything is inevitable, and I feel like it's the big movers, the people with a lot of money, who are directly impacted by this. People who pay people are directly impacted by this decision, and depending on what type of business you have, it's going to affect that. And your way of handling business and funds, and maybe your what's it called, your profits, your profit margins don't. aren't the same anymore. So it's shit like that. I feel like, um,
Right. So we'll talk about it. So a couple of things. You said that COVID was inevitable, and that it was going to happen regardless. Yes, it's true, but you can control it, right? So, like for example, I'm getting sick now. I feel like I've done a pretty good job all year round to watch my health, exercise a shit ton, but the weather changes, right? So I take precautions. Like I've been drinking tea, with lemon and ginger and chamomile tea for a really long time, like pretty much the past 4 months.
mm,
I've been exercising. There's things that you naturally do, and regardless, you're still going to
look,
get sick. But that means that my cabinet has a little bit of medicine. Tengo remedios, té de limon, and all of these things that I'm going to go about to make sure that I can suppress the symptoms and that I don't necessarily lose, excuse me, so much weight that I land myself in the hospital over just a simple flu. So you take precautions, right? So to your point, yes, it's going to happen, but it doesn't happen where it gets so bad that you have to shut down the country.
I just feel like people aren't built
You know what I'm
to
saying?
take. But this is the thing, though. Um, yeah, you are a healthy dude. You take precautions. You work out. You wear masks. To this day.
Yeah.
Um, and you do what you stay protected, and most people aren't like that. But
I'm
yes,
not vaccinated, bro.
yeah, I know, yeah, and I just feel like that. I just feel like people don't take precaution, but I feel like people have taken more precaution since this has happened. But at the same time, like, I feel like people aren't built like that. It's what you do to your body, what you eat, how like people's lungs are getting filled up with phlegm, and it just with that virus and shit, and it's hard to stop. People are are overweight, people don't work out, so it's more of a lifestyle. And honestly, since 2020, the healthy lifestyle market has gone up. New healthy lifestyle products are going up, you
Yeah.
know and you see it's starting to become more viral,
Yeah,
like
like the
all these
Ozempic,
products.
and then there's like these injections that people are doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
hear
just
you. I hear
little
you.
things,
People are taking
innovations,
shortcuts. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, but innovations, right? But I just feel like we were um we were due for one, bro. Like, people weren't built like that. And this is another thing. Us as a humanity, we are all on this roller coaster on Earth. And
Right.
I feel like the weather's changing at a faster rate. Uh, the the temperature drops faster and it goes up faster. And I think the weather is crazier now. Like, and it comes hotter now. Like, it's rain and wind harder. And I just see the trend, bro. And I just feel like it affects everything, the way we breathe, the way we take the temperature, like the way, like, and I just feel like no matter how healthy you are, I just feel like, going back to the precautions, I feel like precautions, bro, like doing everything to make yourself in a healthy environment. Most people don't have that, and they just kind of go off less emotion, or and they just say fuck it. you know People aren't built like you, and I feel like most people are like that, and they just say fuck it. And also this, because people got to work, so they got to go to work, and they're going sick, you know
Yeah.
so it's shit like that, bro. And then it's, because they gotta go to work. And yeah, I just feel like, we're like, no matter what you do, I feel like you can't avoid the sickness. You can't. There's no person on earth who's never gotten sick. So we are all on this thing on earth together, and it's getting crazier here. It's great. The weather is getting bipolar on us, and it's hard to adapt. you know Only the strong survive.
No, it's true. Like, so what you're saying, there's a lot of validity to it. You know what I mean? Things like this do happen in the world, but what I'm trying to say is, a president's job is not to downplay the situation, right? Just like anything in the world,
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
assess
I
the
agree. Yeah,
situation and you
yeah.
have pros and cons. and you should be thinking about it bigger than yourself. You have a country to run, right? So, like you said, when it comes down to the presidency, it's usually a rich person's situation, right? But we have
Absolutely.
to understand the context. There's a lot of Americans that are very angry, right? They're angry for a lot of things. They have this fear that, they're losing the country, right? A country that they fought and killed almost brother to brother, father to son. If you read some of these books, during the Civil War times, North and South and situation, they fought and they shed blood, sometimes even killing their own siblings, for others, right? So now during these times, there's this fear that they're losing the country, that they have to close down a lot of things, that they got to take down affirmative action and all of these things to please the other. When they're like, nah, man, because of this, we've gotten dumber and dumber and dumber, and it's just not true at all. You get what I'm saying? So the way I look at it, right, is when we have situations, you also have to understand is this. In 2008, something extremely happened. First time in history, there was a black president, Barack Obama. Followed after 16 years of him leading, guess who won? Almost you can basically say a supremacist, Donald Trump, for 4 years, right? So a lot of these things are counteractive towards one another. It's not just rich versus rich fight and battling. You know what I mean? A certain demographic, the white folk, were extremely angry. They were angered, bro, that Barack Obama won twice, let alone one time. Kind of like that thing with Colin Kaepernick, right? I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, it wasn't effective." Then why are you so mad about it? If it's not effective, it's just one guy kneeling. So why did the media have to cover it? Like, for example, I'm talking about Ryan Garcia and Donald Trump. The media won't cover this because you know why? I'm not effective. I'm not Colin Kaepernick. I'm not loved and known like Colin Kaepernick or the quarterback of a top tier franchise, right? With a lot of rich history and culture. Players like Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, the list goes on, right? So what I'm trying to say is it was extremely effective. Trump is extremely effective. Ryan Garcia is effective because there's a lot of people that Trump, like Ryan, are causing a lot of confusion. Again, when I asked you the question earlier about Ryan Garcia, like, what's your stance on him? And you're like, yeah, excuse me, like, oh yeah, man, he should apologize and all of these things. And you feel a certain way towards Ryan Garcia that he shouldn't necessarily have to be putting you in that position to be like, damn, bro, this fool really should apologize to certain people because it's like they supported you, they've represented you, they backed you up, and then now you're just, throwing shit on the wall and hoping it sticks. And sometimes you're throwing it at their faces and just be like, hey, bro, you want to fucking follow me or you don't? You know what I mean? So when I look at Ryan Garcia, and I look at the Republican and the Democratic Party, and what it really means to be a boxing fan, an American citizen living in today's time, we don't really stand for anything. Like if I were to ask you a question, Drew, hey, what makes you an American, Drew? How do you know you're an American? And what makes you most proud of being an American? You might have a hard time answering that question. You tell me that situation, I'm going to be like, that's kind of hard to answer for me as well. From a universal standpoint, what does it really mean to be an American? Okay, we have the Bill of Rights. We have the U.S. Constitution, right? We have some freedoms, right to bear arms, right to peaceful protest. But almost a lot of other places in the world have that as well. Some have restrictions like the UK and whatever, but then they have different creeds and laws and orders and customs that they stand by. So if I were to ask you, what does it really mean to be an American? Is it that I, rep the red, white, and blue? I got the flag represented in my country. I went to war. Whatever the case may be, like everybody's situation of it's not like, okay, it's this. We all went to military. We all earned the right to defend our country. We know how to defend our country. We have protocol. We have solidarity. We have the preamble. Our code. Everybody, because of how America is built, everybody really doesn't know how to answer that question. If you were to ask like a like Jeopardy and ask people a couple of questions on the street, oh, who was our first president? Oh, who was on the $100 bill? Who was on the $20 bill? What did they do to be on the money and the currency? You know, who created the money? They'd be like, Shay, what the fuck were you asking me this for? You know, and it's basic things that they've been teaching us like throughout our whole years in school that a lot of people would still like bro, were you
Hey,
paying attention?
speaker.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like even when going down, not going too crazy in politics all over, but when we go back to Ryan Garcia, even the sport of boxing, and we talked about this in the past, Ryan should not be able to win in this court case that Devin Haney is suing him for. Now the battery, that's laughable. It's like, bro, you decide to fight a competitive sport where you punch each other on the face. So you can't sue him for battery. What you could sue him for is breach of contract and the drug use of boxing. You have to go about, I'm trying to clean up this sport. You can't clean up the sport if you're trying to sue people for battery. Like, you know what I mean? That's like a porn actress saying, hey man, you know, I was sexually violated.
Hey, warp speed is in the lobby.
What? What? The Cookie Monster. Yo, Speed, my check, my check. Are you right there, boy?
Yeah, 1 2 1 2. How you guys doing?
Hey, just battling this
Fantastic.
COVID-like symptoms, man. How you doing?
COVID-like symptoms. What are you talking about?
Nah, man. I just got this, like, just like my voice is weak.
Every little sniffle, everybody gets this COVID now.
Yeah, I know.
Well, okay, I'm not trying to make light of that, of course.
Hey, don't
you know-
downplay the situation, man. I'm extremely sick.
Yeah, I don't want to downplay the severity of COVID. I know that you guys delved into it. We all know about our aunt who passed away from complications due to COVID and the other comorbidities. So we're not trying to, make light of that. I hope you do feel better. But man, you guys are all over the place. You guys are trying to conflate the politics of governance in the U.S. with boxing, and you guys are doing a good enough job. But here's the thing, guys. These matters are already complicated as they are, right? We actually created a channel to discuss the sport of boxing, which we know, as a matter of fact, a lot of it, besides the actual action that takes place in the ring, a lot of it is all politics, right? And even those matters are complicated as they are. I think we do an excellent job trying to break them down, but as a matter of fact, we know that those things are very explosive, very dynamic, very mobile. They change all the time, and it's hard enough to discuss the politics of boxing without trying to conflate both of them and trying to make them work. But I will say this, right? You guys were being forthcoming and honest in describing why you guys feel the way you guys feel about the individuals that you may or may not vote for. And all I can tell you is this, right? America is fascinated with the battles of others, right? We love athletics. We love sports because it means other people fight for our entertainment. But for the most part, a lot of Americans are very cowardly, right? We want the luxuries of productivity and technology and all the other modern amenities that only technology and advancements, let's say it, progress can afford us, right? And we know that that means we will have to deal with other countries in order to get the raw goods to produce those things or have them produce them for us on the cheap. And when we can't get our way, we will go over there and nuke them. That's a matter of fact, right? But not a lot of people go over there and battle it out for these things, right? No, we want those things. But we don't want to be the ones to go over there and get ourselves killed, right? We know this because the amount of people that actually enlist for the military the services such as the Army, the Marines, the Navy, Air Force are decreasing as the ages go by, right? We have become a very pusillanimous society that expects others to just kowtow to our demands, or worse, even hypocritical. We say we want peace, We say we want freedom for everybody, right? But yet, when it comes down to it, when we start granting other people those rights and those liberties that we so loudly proclaim we want for ourselves and for all those of our members of our society, then when we start giving those to people that we dislike because of political inclinations and whatnot, oh my goodness, we start to boycott and we start to cancel and we start to make a big old fuss and talk about our emotions, right? If you were to ask me what best defines what an American means, I would say it means to be an individual of a society that grows from a child to a teenager to an adult and all of those phases exactly. So we are a stupid, childish, foolish, immature infant when we're growing up. We are a reckless, dynamic, energetic, sexual teenager as we grow up. We become mature and responsible, and then we disdain those things that we were for our prior years of youthful and vitality. And then when we're older, we become bitter and nostalgic. And that's really what America has become. And it's not only in the way that we conduct ourselves as members of America as a nation, it is in fact the way that the United States has been shaping itself over the generations, over the hundreds of years of its existence. It's acted like that as a rebellious infant, as a person that wants to have so much explosiveness, take over people, dominate and rape, and all of those crazy old things. That's what we have become, right? So, what does that mean? The story of growing up and going through those changes as we live, as we are born, as we die, that is exactly best epitomized by America as a whole. Otherwise, it still boils down to one thing. We are a very hypocritical, cynical society that thinks we are, you know, the SISHIT of the world. We are the snit, when in reality, we're very immature infants, right? Maybe we're in our teenage years and maybe we have this energy to do all these crazy things. At least we're definitely dreamers, right? We're definitely that. So I would say we are teenagers as a nation, as a nation state. But as far as anything very impressive, I don't know, guys. I think we're probably one of the nations that is going to collapse faster than any of the other great civilizations in the past. Rome, Egypt, I don't know, Mesopotamia, the Aztecs. I mean, maybe we're probably going to go out as bad as the Aztecs. We rose to power very violently. We had a reign that was vast and terrific, and our own blindness and our own arrogance and our own cynicism, it, that dogma that makes us think that we are greater and more knowledgeable than we really are is going to be our downfall, right? So I don't think America, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, and when we're a paragraph or two in a vast book of history, I don't think there's going to be much to be said except America really destroyed themselves real quick, real quick. They went from um, becoming the land of the free and the home of the brave to revolutionizing the world through a movement of peace and love and the sexual revolution. Then we became a nation addicted to drugs and sex and fame. And at the end of the day, we hated each other so much because we thought we knew what America was. We're going to destroy ourselves without anybody needing to help us do it. It's pretty pathetic. But anyways, guys, I don't know about politics. I will say this. I will be forthcoming. I really do believe I'm gonna vote as a Republican for the very first time in my life. I think I am gonna vote for the big tanned individual because I don't see myself voting for a politician who has nothing to offer, who was pushed on us to represent a political party without the people's consent. I believe that the Democratic National Committee really try to fool everybody by saying that we had this very intelligent genius, very active and cognizant individual at the White House when I think it was clear as day that he was becoming feeble and feeble time and time again. And they lied to us. And then they try to, after trying to pull the wool over our shoulders, they said, "Oh, guys, and by the way, he messed up on his debate with former President Donald Trump. So because he sucked so bad, we're just gonna push this very disliked individual named Kamala Harris. I don't care if you didn't vote for her, but we're gonna do whatever we want." Right? That's what upsets me the most. That in plain sight, these leaders, these committees that are supposed to work for us, that take our money, our investment, take our votes, they push a candidate that we did not want. Right. So I think I'm going to be voting for Trump. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, guys, isn't that what politics are? It's an extension of the NFL. Right. I used to be a 49er fan. And of course, our disliked foes were the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, right? Red versus blue, right? Isn't that what the Democrats and Republicans are? Blue versus red, right? And at the end of the day, they all play for the same organization. And who is the organization? The corrupt leaders that have been putting the strings of all these uh, leaders, politicians, legislators, governors. All those people are being manipulated by the ultra rich, by the ultra powerful, those families that have been in power and in the vein and sovereign entities for hundreds of years. The Rothschilds, people in the Vatican and Israel and Saudi Arabia, all these very powerful individuals that have always cohorted with each other to manipulate and empower others, subjugate others to their demands by word or by force. It's the same people. And they just tell you who to vote, and they give you two options, red or blue, take it or leave it, but they all get paid by the same individuals. And those individuals tell them what to do. We're not going to win whether we vote for Kamala. We're not going to win whether we vote for Trump. But there is one thing I do believe about Trump. The reason why they tried to assassinate him on two occasions is because he's not one of them. That I do believe. And that's the reason why I'm voting for Donald J. Trump. Because I think he's an outsider. I don't think he is perfect. I don't think he's going to be a great leader. I do think he is the person who we need at this moment to teach these powers that be a lesson, right? That you're not going to intimidate the people that want to govern our country and do something according to what they believe is best for our country by taking them out, and we're just going to diddle daddle right here watching you kill them. We're not going to do that. We're going to be encouraged and animated to vote for that individual, to disregard and our complete disdain every single effort that you've taken to try to take any little bit of power and influence that we have. We are going to vote for Donald J. Trump because we are telling you no. That's a matter of fact. I don't care about the guy. I know he's being held by other people in Israel and other countries. I know he's being influenced by others, but guess what? You try to kill him for a reason, right? That reason is the reason why he's getting my votes.
Yeah, no, that again, that idea, the ideology of him being or running as an independent. I think a lot of people cater to that, you know. But I will say this: I feel like he's done a very ineffective job of doing that and sending that message. He said something about this woman Kamala has nothing really to offer, and then you said that the Orange Man has something to offer, and it's that, like, oh, we're gonna take back our country from corporations, right? But in return, his divisiveness, his tactics, has essentially caused a civil war. And in order to aspire to what you're saying, that's what it's going to take. You see, these people decided to storm the Capitol. It's one of many actions that he took, that he led to, right? So no, man, I feel that he's done. I don't know why a lot of people cater to him. Honestly, I don't. I do see that he does run independently, and that comes with a lot of freedom. But during his first 4 years, I don't know, man. He didn't get much done, especially towards his last year. He was fucking horrible, you know. And 4 years is saying a lot. You can get a lot of stuff done in 4 years, and also not a lot of stuff done. So it depends on how effective you are. You know, when I look back at Joe Biden, he was fantastic. You know, he had to attack this plague, this virus. That in my 30 years, I've never ran into anything like that here in the United States. And this man had a plan, created a vaccine. He had 3 or 4 stimulus checks. He opened up the country. Things that under Trump's watch, he placated, right? He didn't care about. He was dismissive about it. And that type of, I guess, desensitivity, right? If that's even a word, that he held towards the way he spoke in regards to Mexicans, calling them rapists and stuff like that, right? He didn't care, and he downplayed COVID. He was very, like, desensitized this country. I'm not saying you don't have free speech. No, you can speak any way that you want. But I always feel like there is a saying in our dollar bills, right? And I think it's a Latin term. Basically, it means with many, we are one. The Latin term and the CEO of the dollar bills, the $1, $5, I don't know, $100 bill, there's this term called e pluribus unum. I think that's what it's called. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. I don't speak Latin. But basically, the translation is from many, we are one. Okay? And then if you guys played, Kingdom Hearts, video game for the PlayStation 2, you play as Mickey Mouse, a character named Sora, Donald Duck, and Goofy. And then they put their hands together and they always say, all for one and one for all. It's basically the same thing. So when you look at this melting pot of different cultures, what it means to be an American is appealing and making sure that we have room for all of these cultures. Because the foundation of this culture started with, let's just say, the Native Americans opening their arms to the white man and teaching them how to work this land, only to be betrayed by them, right? And given blankets of syphilis through manifest destiny and keep pushing them through mass extinction, things that Adolf Hitler, right, took notes of the white people coming from the UK, established here in the 13 colonies, and kept pushing forward to get Western and more West. So I have this very unsettling feeling towards that. And it's just like, I don't know if, this man is capable of taking back the country. Because what that happened was their pompous belief of what they did to the Native Americans. This man wants civil war is basically what you're telling me. And that's why they tried to decapitate him. So I don't know, man. Again, in our dollar bills, there's that term, right? From many, we are one. E pluribus unum. So I don't know, man. I just feel like, look, man, when it comes down to those things, I feel that I'm somewhat capable of doing some things, obviously, to defend family, myself, but at what cost? Because the Orange Man said so? I don't know, man. Again, and we compare Kamala Harris to Hillary Clinton, okay, Hillary Clinton was corrupted, all of these things. But now Donald Trump has gone through the same way and done similar things to like Hillary Clinton and destroyed evidence and basically not cater to American people. Hence the downplaying of COVID, where the world shut down because he didn't fucking care and he's rich and he's protected. Guess what? What's the excuse for Kamala Harris other than she's a woman and men do not feel proper that women can lead us? Now, again, I don't know what it is that she stands to offer, but maybe she learns from Barack Obama, asks them, and learns from Joe Biden. I just feel that when it comes down to this situation, the lesser of two evils, definitely Kamala. You know, as to what she stands for, and like she's very flippant. She flip flops during a lot of like, oh, we're not trying to take your guns, and then the other ones, oh, we need to be ban AR weapons. I don't know. I just like pandering to the crowd. I don't really like that. I like people that are very honest and they stick to their guns, which Trump does have. But yeah, man, it's very unsettling and very fickle. And I think you did a great job, Speed, of talking about your stance and the way you see fit. And you are correct, you know, in terms of your reasoning. There's proper reasoning. And whether that seems cause for revolution, you're more closer with Trump to cause that. But also, it could be the downfall of it as well in this nation. So it just depends, man. You know, when you try to replace certain things of the status quo and certain ramifications and things of that nature, it comes through, you know, extremism. It comes through war. It comes through litigation, money, and funding. And you know, as great as the businessman that he is, he's also declared bankruptcy a lot of times. And I'm sure he was so close, you know, during COVID for a lot of people to go bankrupt. In fact, a lot of people did. So I mean, I just gotta question those things that you really thought thoroughly, man. You know, but yeah, man.
No. So no, all of those are valid points. You know, there's unfortunately, homie Ricky, and you dream. You know, I wish I was a bit more informed, right? So that I can make a better argument or to have a better discussion about politics or you know about the recent history. But the fact of the matter is that I was so politically involved for such a long time that I got turned off by it. Right, I really did. I used to subscribe to political magazines such as
The Nation.
The Nation, and there was I think it was American Conservatism, or I can't remember what it was called. But the reason I would subscribe to these things for years was because I wanted to be informed about all angles of political thought, right? Conservatism, progressivism. I wanted to understand all of those things. This was, man, like maybe 10 years ago when I stopped, you know, really, I guess you can say giving an F, right? Just because I matured and I didn't have, you get disillusioned over time. You get disappointed over the votes that you cast and the way that, you know, these politicians say one thing and they do another. You really do get disillusioned. And I believe that I was tired of just being puppeteered for my vote. They tell you what you want to hear, and then you vote according to what you want to hear. Now, some of us actually want to hear things that we think are best for the nation as a whole, and as individuals as a secondary thing, right? But now it seems that a lot of people are voting as what benefits them as individuals, and maybe secondarily as a nation as a whole, right? Which is a way of thinking that differs from mine. I'm a very independent individual, like most people. I love my freedom. I love my liberty. I want you to leave me the heck alone. But I understand that I am a member of a community, and I uphold my responsibilities as a member of a community with the severity that it requires, right? But when you think selfishly, you're gonna get laws like, I don't know, forcing you to, you know, take sex classes at, you know, sex education at fourth grade, gender identification questions in classes. Why? Because a very vocal minority of individuals that have incredible thoughts and reasons to think that they've been victimized. They have leaders in positions of power that are their allies, that they want to appease those people because of, I don't know, maybe the fact that they're disenfranchised, or maybe they're a very wealthy class. So they, this is how politics works, right? Contributions and wealth and whatnot. Maybe for whatever reason or another, these very insignificant things, these very insignificant matters, like how a third grader identifies as a boy or a girl, if Jimmy likes Timmy, those kind of things that don't teach
Right.
science. They don't teach science. They don't teach technology. They don't teach mathematics. They don't teach reading. They don't teach literature. Those kind of things are setting us back, right? We're focused more on what the individual wants and screams about, making us capricious, loud-mouthed individuals, when in fact we
Capricious.
should be capricious. That means you're very loud and demanding of what you want. You have to have your way. That's capriciousness, right? Um, Caprice, and and I don't know if that's the
Little,
direction that I want to
little
go in.
caprice. Little.
Yeah. So long story
Capi-
short, guys, yeah, capiche, capiche.
Um,
So long story short, I wish that I could talk to you more about these things, but as a hippie, that's one thing that I am. I've always been a hippie. I'm a peace-loving individual. You must understand.
I need
I
my
am a
green jacket back.
I am against war. I am for love. I am for peace. So of course I understand movements such as the gay movement, gay rights, and all of those things. But this is not that, ladies and
Ah,
gentlemen.
listen, whoa, listen, man. Let's just switch the whole topic, man, because we've been lingering now for an hour and 30 minutes, man, and you've done a great job. Uh, very articulate speed. You as well, Drew. Mexican boxing 101. Yo, did Drew Speed hop off? No, he's back
I'm
here.
right here.
Salute to you, Adi Medi. Salute to you, Morpheus, the Mexican G. Shout out to all you guys, man, for being in here. Mexican boxing, just boxing question to you, Speed and Drew. Mexican boxing goes. Wait. He said something. Okay. You saw a Russian prestigious news outlet called TASS. They reported Canelo team sent an offer to Team Beterbiev.
Really?
Holy shit, fellas.
Oh
This
my
might be the
God,
time.
Eddie Medi, bro, that guy's hilarious. Pete's voice kills the mood. Man,
Fellas,
that guy's hilarious, bro. Hey, Addy, you're a legend, bro. You're a legend. You always make me laugh, man.
let me ask you guys this, Speed and Drew. Mexican Boxing 101. He says, so there's a news Russian outlet called TASS, and they reported that Canelo team sent an offer to the Turbiev team. Now, a couple things is like it's very interesting that the Russian media caught onto this. I don't even know how they got that information because I think oh boy Artur Beterbiev lives in Canada, so I'm surprised that it wasn't like a Canadian outlet, that reported that they sent out that information. On top of that, I'm sure that Canelo has reached out to that team, and just because I'm sure that in terms of making more history and legacy,
Or like a troll account?
maybe. Do you think, just picking your brain, how do you see that fight? Do you think Canelo has a better chance of beating Arthur than he does Bivol? Or do you think Canelo gets knocked out by Arthur?
I don't think he gets physically like knocked out. I think he just gets overwhelmed, and I think he just gets punched to where he's got to take a knee. Um,
Whoa,
yeah,
Canelo bending the knee? Holy
yeah, dude. I think, dude. The other way around, I can't see it. You need to be, you need more volume, and our better be. Bivol barely had enough volume, bro. Like you, you either gotta knock out uh Beterbiev, you know, I, dude, you gotta knock him out, bro, because he's just gonna make sure that he wins the rounds. That's the thing. He's okay with going to. I think he's okay with going to decision because I've seen his like the way he goes about things, right? Like if he feels like he lost the round and say there's like 1 minute left, he's going all out. He's going all out that round. And he doesn't care about energy because in his mind, energy is infinite. in his mind, bro. Like, I do not think he gets the feeling of tiredness. I think he just laser focus and he come forward, bro. Like, he will not get tired with Canelo, bro. I think he has a granite chin. I think he takes his punches, bro. And he's actually got a good, like, a surprising defense, you know. But he just sucks on the inside, you know. But yeah, I think like fighting on the inside is tiring. You know, it's fucking tiring, bro. Like, you cannot fight on the inside a whole entire fight unless the guy that your guy is willing to actually stay there. You know, he's just gonna come forward, and he's just gonna you're gonna have to hug the shit out of him, and then after that, this shit's gonna tire him, bro. Like, I don't see the energy in Canelo to do that. He just and he's a different tier of size. Like, he's just like Bivol, but he'll be there for him to get hit, and I think he gets rocked. I think Canelo gets rocked. And he takes his chin up, then and I think Canelo obviously hits harder, and you're gonna see we're gonna get some oohs and some ahs out of him, you know. But what better be it's gonna be a consistent pressure the whole entire fight. I do not see Canelo doing that the whole 12 rounds.
Damn.
Berlanga.
Damn.
Come
So
on, Eddie.
true. Nadim Eddie goes, the only way Canelo is bending his knee is to pick up Arthur's mouth. Dude.
Oh man.
Man. What
So
about you?
first off,
What do you think about
no,
that?
I agree with Dream. I don't see look, okay. Did Bivol have more success against Beterbiev than he had against Canelo? And saying getting his punches through their guards, through their respective guards. I don't know. I think it was quite similar, right? For all that people say about Bivol being Canelo's dad, the fact of the matter is that Canelo, yeah, he took a little bit of a beating, right? I mean, he was marked up in the face afterwards, but for the most part, his defense was close knit and very compact. A lot of those punches were arm punches. A lot of those punches were glancing shots. Um, there was just more action coming the way from Bivol towards Canelo, and the action that Canelo was bringing to Bivol just wasn't as successful. Why? Because the other thing that's going to work against Canelo's favor, he is losing power as he goes up in weight. My goodness, he couldn't knock out Munguia. My goodness, he couldn't knock out Berlanga. Right? When was the last time that he knocked out anybody? He couldn't knock out John Ryder, even though that guy became a punching bag for all of 12 rounds, right?
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I think Canelo gets extremely hurt against Artur Beterbiev.
Yeah, dude.
And
Dude,
And they're not just outboxed. You have to understand is this. Canelo, like David Benavidez, when they both moved up to 175, even though Canelo knocked out Sergey Kovalev, Canelo had a hard time with Kovalev getting around that arm length and the height and the jab. Right? Eventually, he wore down Kovalev and he got him and he knocked him out. But he had a very hard time getting around Kovalev's jab. Now, with the Bivol fight, it looked very close. But if we really talk about the quality of shots, Canelo was not able to penetrate Bivol's guard. Right? The same punch effect to the biceps was non-existent like it was in the Callum Smith fight. And with Artur, yes, if Archer sat there in the pocket, Canelo can land some body shots, uppercuts, and potentially drop Artur Beterbiev. But Archer is big, wide back, wide body, big arms, big fucking rival brand gloves. He will protect himself, and he will just pepper Canelo like Triple G did with his jab. I would rather have Canelo go knock out Terrence Bud Crawford than look to fight Artur Beterbiev. I've always felt this way that Canelo is an overachiever, right? Probably the best Mexican in the history in terms of accomplishments, right? And resumes up there as well. However, 175 is just a bit too much, bro. It's just a bit too much. Even at 168, the fact that he can't knock out guys like Jaime Munguia, Edgar Berlanga, and they're not staying down, and like you're sleeping them, you couldn't even do it really at 160, right? Like he didn't sleep Danny Jacobs. He couldn't sleep an older Gennady Golovkin, right? Hell, he didn't even sleep Billy Joe Saunders. You get what I'm saying? Now, he did get a couple of stoppages in these fights, but what I'm trying to say is this. You're not outboxing Artur Beterbiev. He's taller than you. He's the bigger puncher than you. And he just did that to Bivol after a 1-year absence of the ring coming off surgery with no tune-up in between.
Yep.
You went life and death, and in the championship rounds, Canelo, you didn't win any rounds. He had you up against the ropes, up against the back, throwing like a 20-punch combination with maybe 4 or 5 punches only landing, but I've never seen Canelo not be able to respond from that. Now, Canelo blocked, parried, rolled a bunch of them, but bro, I saw Bivol throw like a 14, 15-piece combination.
Yeah.
So imagine that's Artur pummeling you back with uppercuts. You
I
know,
see the same thing.
I hope it's not true, and I hope that Canelo realizes it's like they need you more than you need them.
But this is what makes it hard though, right? If
Talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
if the reports are true and Canelo actually sent that offer,
Come on.
then that means he sees something. That means he sees something. But he also seen something in Bivol too. You know, but he should have learned his lesson, right? But don't you think he has a like this is after seeing him fight Bivol, he probably like got enticed. You know, he was like, fuck, he's beatable. Because we see that. We see how he gets hit. It's dude, I think it's just his will. It's his willpower and his discipline, bro. Like that's all it is. And also, you know, he's seen it all in the amateurs. Like he's a silver medalist, or I forget what, but he also fought Usyk, who's actually a bigger dude right now, and he got some wins over him. So it's like it's one of those things, bro. Like he's also older, and he's like this age where it's like getting to the legendary part of the, you know, of like in the record books where you're like, okay, you're getting up there in age. We're starting to see like the greatness in you, and obviously, you know, fucking Beterbiev is only getting older, and he should, you know, Father Time catches up with everybody. But I think
Yeah.
Arthur Beterbiev is literally talking to Father Time every day, and he's like, and he's and he's what's the word, like he's in cohesive, like he knows his body, you know, and he's disciplined in and out the ring. You could just tell, bro. It takes
And he also knows how to cycle off.
Oh, I
It's
mean,
possible. It's
and
possible.
that's another thing
No,
too,
just
right?
kidding, just
That
kidding. It
you,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
yeah, but
Same
that
thing with Canelo and the
it's
Reynoso.
like a body, but it's like a
Fucking Julio Martinez, all them dudes.
but it's also this, right? It's like a bodybuilder, right? Like a dude that takes steroids, you can take the steroids, but you still got to put in the work, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
You still
still,
have to have the skills. Yeah, you still have
yeah,
to have the skills. You can't just like take a pet and then all of a sudden you're king right? So no, look, guys, it's like this. I don't
yeah.
want to do triangulation theories, right? But you know, styles make fights. I would say
You
that
could do it in this
Canelo,
instance.
yeah, I would say Canelo is much closer to Beterbiev in fighting style than Canelo is to Bivol, right? Now, if we look at how that fight played out, right, we know that both Bivol and Beterbiev threw around the same amount of punches towards each other in that fight, like 500 or whatever, right? 700 or whatever each towards each other. Bivol's face looked very damaged. Beterbiev's face looked very clean, right? Bivol made Canelo's face look like his own face. Yet Bivol looked pretty clean when Canelo fought him, right? Now, if we take that equation right there, what you're gonna get is okay. Bivol hits harder than Canelo, but yet, or takes less damage than Canelo from his punches, but yet Beterbiev hits harder than Bivol, and he marks him up. Now, both of them throw around the same amount of punches. What is one of the things that pressured Canelo into being reluctant to throw against Bivol? Well, that style of his, the in and out style, the fact that he was bigger, and also the punch output. The punch output was one that kept Canelo on the back foot, pushed against the rope, and always keeping his guard up, right? That means that Beterbiev, who throws as much punches as Bivol, only harder, he can definitely harm Canelo much more so than Bivol did, especially if Canelo wants to bring himself up to 175. If he was smart, he may want to bring Beterbiev to 168 to make it a fair fight. That is more likely, right? Because I can assure you that that's going to be a hard ask of Petriviev to bring that guy down to 168. Because if you see his body, I don't think that's possible. That guy is chiseled. That guy is ripped. That guy is like, I don't know, it's very wiry muscle that he has. I don't think he could come down. But it would be the only chance that I could give Canelo that he may actually have enough of an advantage to beat Beterbiev. Because if not, yeah, I can definitely see Beterbiev hurting Canelo. And here's the thing: Canelo is not a great back-footed fighter, right? He doesn't take any steps back. He may move laterally, he may just bob and weave, but he's not gonna be circling around like a Lara, like a B-boy, trying to evade the actions of Beterbiev and try and counter him like Marcus did to Pacquiao. He's never been that type of guy. He's always been in the pocket. This is a very bad matchup for Canelo. He will lose, just like I believe that he will lose to William Skull. The
No,
person. Come on, I'm giving
everything was
Natty
good
Meddy
up
so much
until that
crap, bro.
moment,
I'm
man.
giving Natty Meddy so much crap. Oh man, yeah, that
Nah,
was
man. Yeah, everything that you said was on point, except that William Skull part, man. I just had to stop you.
Yeah.
Let me, let me read a couple of these comments right here, starting with Mexican boxing. Canelo beats Beterbiev, and they're both bad decisions. He goes on to further state that Trump talked bad about Mexicans, and Kamala, her changes are very weird. Adi Medi goes, man, Speed's voice killed him. Only way Canelo is bending his knee is picking up Arthur's mouthpiece. Berlanga is equivalent to Beterbiev. If Canelo fights Beterbiev, does he get a pass for not fighting Benavides? It's a great question. It's a very great question. I would say yes, but no, because Beterbiev is close to 40 and Benavides is young, dumb, and full of, and I think would give a much more fight out of Benavides. Beterbiev, I think he'll be very methodical, or a pass for ducking William Skull. Fucking guy, bro. I would have ducked William Skull too. Business decision, not marketable and boring as hell. No, Canelo is ducking Skull because of the style. He is awkward and it doesn't help that Skull has no fan base.
of course.
Even if Canelo is like, who the fuck is that guy? I'm going to
Yeah,
jump
no,
on
I'm just being a jerk. I'm just being a jerk
say
right
that
there.
he beats Beterbiev. Nah, Beterbiev is almost as dark as Tim Bradley, so you can't really tell the dad. Canelo is whiter than baby powder on Devin Haney's butt.
Yeah, he's white.
Fellas. So, yeah, man, I just feel like right now Canelo he's like, to your point, Speed. He should probably fight a William Skull. There's
Yeah,
rumors
he
that
should.
he might fight Chris Eubank in the UK or in Japan, and
That's a good fight.
I will say this.
It's better than the William School.
No, it's not, because at least he gets to retain back his IBF championship and then become undisputed two
Yeah,
times
true.
over. Where with
True.
Chris Eubank, it's not a bad fight if Canelo is already thinking retirement and making contracts with other networks and being a pipeline to be like, I'm gonna go fight in the UK, understand the UK business, fight on ITV or IFL TV or Sky Sports TV, whatever the networks that they have over there, and showcase my talent, and that maybe will allow me to and like reel in UK talent to Canelo Alvarez, promotions. Let's just say, right? Or if
You
he
see, Dream, you see
or,
that? You see how homie Ricky is like 2-3 steps ahead of everybody? He's
well,
already
it
talking
depends.
about opening markets.
Correct, right? So he deals with these people, makes ties with the networks, and then that's his next venture. or he's just be like, you know what, I have a big UK fan base and I want to do a world tour. It first starts with the UK, go fight in the UK, and then after I fight there, maybe go to I don't know, Japan and fight one of their like Takashi Inoue guys over there. And then just continue to, make boxing popular. Because I do miss the time, and I'm glad that the NFL is doing this. I like the fact that sometimes, not every single week, but at times they go to the UK and show a football game over there. And they did it in Brazil. And you get to see, the media cover a different part of the world, whether it's the favelas, whether it's, fish and chip diners or Big Ben Tower or whatever the case may be. They showcase this world and they become more like prevalent, and like worldwide. And you spread that sphere of influence. So I like that the NFL is doing that. So if the NFL is doing that, Canelo and these boxing stars, go ahead and do that. I liked how Devin Haney actually traveled and showed his talent in Australia, and they showed the what Australia and that beautiful place of Sydney have the world to offer. I like the fact that a lot of countries were doing that. Errol Spence traveling to fight Kell Brook in Sheffield. I feel like more Americans in the sport and almost all sports, they need to do that as well. And I just feel if that's Canelo's intent with the Chris Eubank Jr. fight, I think that would be a great precedent to be like, dude, go to the highest bidder, go to these other markets, fight, be the definition of a world champion, not just in the confines of, oh, I'm fighting in Las Vegas. Then you're just a Las Vegas champion. Go showcase your talents to the whole world on a global scale, like Thrilla in Manila that was happening in the Philippines. When's the last time that you saw a big fight in the Philippines? Do you even know how the Philippines looks like? Because I don't. Yeah, I can Google it in the images and stuff like that, but imagine that. So
I know someone that lives in the Philippines. I know like two people
nice.
right now that live in the Philippines, and I found like on IG and Facebook, bro. They used to live in the United States, or they moved from the Philippines to the United States, and they decided to move back. Like they both decided to move back. Like none of them, like they both had no, like they're. I know them from two different things, and But go ahead. Sorry, just want to throw that.
No, you're good, brother. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I don't mind the Canelo Eubank Jr. fight at all if he's just trying to have a European tour and just showcase his talents and just be like, this is the Mexican style of brand of fighting. And, you showcase that talent all over the world. That would be fantastic. But if he's trying to sell it to pay-per-view and try to sell us that this is a bona fide, legit threat, I'm like, I don't know. At least Eubank has fought previously at 168. I think he fought George Groves in that World Boxing Super Series tournament, the Muhammad Ali, maybe like 6 years back. But again, and we're talking about, look, Canelo, you already a bona fide, legitimate first round ballot Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
There's not much left to accomplish.
Nope.
So, but if you're gonna just continue your greatness, then I would say Beterbiev, Benavides, hell, even Bud Crawford, because it just be, how many fighters do you know have fought other fighters that have been undisputed and are on the pound for pound list? And you're gonna, let's say you fight Bud Crawford, you would have another one. You already beat Jermell Charlo that was on the pound for pound list and he was undisputed, right? Now you're doing it to Bud Crawford. I don't think Usyk has done that. I don't think Naoya Inoue has done that, or Bud Crawford. None of these guys have beaten undisputed previous champions and on the pound for pound list, right? With both, so that can be something that Canelo puts precedent to be like, no, I'm the dominant force of here. Again, I don't really know what his intent is. It's kind of interesting, but
I think I know.
at the time, a little played out. Like I want to see David Morrell versus Canelo Alvarez. If Canelo doesn't fight, I'm done with Canelo Alvarez's career. You know what I mean? Like I love his talent, I love his fights, but
no substance anymore.
Who the up and comers are, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no. You break it down, Dream, because you were gonna say something. You said you think you know
Nah,
what
because
Canelo's needing to do.
dude, I've been calling every single fight that he's been fighting since he fought Munguia. Before he fought Munguia, dude, I said it. There's podcast episodes. I said he's gonna fight Berlanga, or no Munguia, and then he's gonna fight Berlanga. Honestly, I think the move, that the move up to 175, for Benavidez moving up to 175 fucked it up. I think he should have stayed there and I think the fight would have happened next year. But now I think since Bivol, I mean Beterbiev got the belts, he's looking at him now. So I think he's gonna fight. I think he's either gonna fight. He's gonna fight Eubank next. He's gonna fight Chris Eubank in I don't know where. I haven't, like done too much research on that. I just keep seeing that, and I told you guys just by the way they sound. And then I said that before the reports came out, and now I'm thinking, yes, he is gonna fight this guy. I think he's gonna fight him in London, Japan, or even so out here somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. But I think he's gonna fight Eubank, possibly um Beterbiev. But this is the only way he fights Benavidez, bro. This is the only way he fights Benavidez. If Benavidez goes and fights Beterbiev and beats Beterbiev,
Yeah,
that's the only way. That's the only way.
yeah,
And he
What
I
would give
agree.
and
Canelo
he's
That's
already
inc-
moved up. And he's already moved up. I don't think he's planning on moving down anymore.
No, of course not, bro. He's not gonna be able to.
Yeah,
No
because he
way.
used to be fat. He used to be like he used to be super fat. So he's not gonna be able to move back down. Like he's naturally like a heavyweight, I think. And I don't know what he's trying to do with his career, but I do know Canelo's thinking that. He's thinking
Look,
the only way.
170.
But this is what sucks though. The balloon popped. The balloon was getting big. There's like a big elephant in the room that he needed to fight Benavidez, but Benavidez popped his own balloon. He moved up to 175. He should have
Mm,
he should have stayed at 168. He did it to himself. So he's trying to make the stars align again, and it's like it's 50-50, honestly. But I do think there's an outside chance that it's gonna be Chris Eubank, William Skull, or fucking Beterbiev.
I don't think he'll fight William Skull. He gave up the belt. He gave up the IBF belt and forfeited his title as the undisputed
Dude, he's got a
champion.
following, bro. He's got
Uh,
a he's like he's
it doesn't matter about the what following Germans,
he's
the
bigger
guys that play
he's
the
bigger
trumpets and the
he's
drums.
bigger than Morel. He's bigger than Morel.
No,
Yeah, he is.
Morel actually Morel actually can pack.
No. Like his following though. I'm not saying he's better than him. I'm saying
No. I'm saying
bigger,
how they
bigger
could
name.
pack up a venue, right? I
No,
mean,
it's
here's the thing.
gonna be him. Skull.
Look, we've seen Morel promoted by the PBC and people, the casuals, the people that listen to the Boxing Boys, the people that listen to Ring IQ, the people that listen to Showbiz, the adult, they know the name of Morel.
Well,
No
Morel's
one
gonna
knows the
fight.
name of Skull. No
Morel's
one knows the
fighting.
name of Skull.
Well, Morel's fighting Benavidez next. So like there is no chance for Morel to fight Canelo because Benavidez is gonna whip his ass.
Who said that? Who said that?
That's
Me.
crazy.
Wait, bro,
Yeah, they're gonna
that's
fight. You haven't heard about it?
crazy.
You haven't
He
heard?
says he's just gonna go over there and just beat Morel's ass. Like,
No. You
It's gonna
said,
be a tough fight, man. It's gonna be
but you know
tough.
the fight is going down, right?
yeah. So that's
Okay.
what I'm trying to say. David Benavidez is not going down to 168 ever again because this would be a second fight at
So you think Morel's
175
gonna
at light
win?
heavyweight. Yes, I do believe he could win. I do believe he could win.
Is
He's
he or is he not? Pick a side. No, I'm just kidding.
no. I don't do that. I'm just saying, can he win? Of course he could win. I mean, didn't what's his name? Radchak or whatever his name was. Didn't he
Hot Rod?
almost he got to yeah, Hot Rod Radicek or whatever. Didn't he pull up a very good fight against David Benavidez? This guy is a 40-year-old fighter that prior to these last three fights that he took on with soft touches in the past year, he had really had a 2-year hiatus after being retired after his very first loss, right? So look, you can give David Benavidez all the credit that you want. That's fine. I do. I just don't think that he's invincible. Now, do I give him the favorite odds against David Morrell? Absolutely. Who has David Morrell beat? What is David Morrell's career? It's 10 fights, 11 fights total, right? And the other guy has at least fought in champions or been at the world stage level. So no, of course, David Morrell has the odds. But what I'm saying is, it's not
Hey,
an assured thing.
David Morrell fought Hot Rod.
And he looked like booty or what?
Nah, he looked good. He just
looked
didn't
alright.
leave like the formidable force where
Yeah.
he's knocking out dudes in 2-3 rounds. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and Hot Rod actually fought Beterbiev too.
Yeah.
Wow, look, Addy Medi, man. Here's the thing: we're all over the place. Addy Medi just brought up another name, Mbili, Christian Mbili, and it's true now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And that's a very likely fight.
So okay,
Why?
I want to put
Because
Mabili.
For
I want to
Jaime,
replace.
yeah.
I want to
he's
replace.
got to switch it over on Billy.
No, I'm gonna replace not replace, but put Mabili in with the option of William Skull or Beterbiev.
I don't think William Score's the guy. I'm sorry. I don't think Canelo's gonna fight that guy. Again, I
Mabili makes
agree.
more sense, I think, maybe.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
just giving Adimedes much crap, but I actually don't think William Score makes any kind of financial sense for Canelo at all. I think
He's got a belt,
Chris Eubank Jr. is a viable option just because he
no
can
belt.
take. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He could make big money, right? He doesn't need to defend that belt. I mean, he could just go and have a big mega fight against somebody that he sure has great odds over, right? And open up the market. I think that's fair of Canelo to do. He does not have to necessarily defend every single belt right now because he has voluntaries that he can exercise voluntaries instead of his mandatories, right? So he can fight a Williams Score, and I wouldn't be too critical of it, right? Because he could get his belt. So this is mandatory. I don't care. Fight whoever's in your place to be the best. Fight whoever's in your path to get all the belts again, right? If he fights Christian and Billy, I'm okay with it. If he fights, William Skull, I'm okay with it. It doesn't matter to me anymore, right? That whoever he fights, because he has to clear out all these guys. If he's not, then just give up all the belts, right? But yeah, as far as David Benavidez, guys, he's not coming down to 168. And the best thing for him to do, really, is for him to get past Morrell, maybe ask for a fight with Petreviev, because we know that that rematch is not happening. I guess there's a guy that's in line to defend for his first shot mandatory for Beterviev's belt, and he's not asking for any step aside money. He is asking to have the opportunity to fight Beterviev, and there might not be a rematch where Bivol, even if he beats Petreviev, he might be undisputed. There might not be that viability, right? So David Morrell has to beat this guy and get the belts or get a belt at 175, and Canelo will take him. But otherwise, yeah, Canelo messed up by not having that guy at 168. But David Benavidez did the right thing for his career. He did not wait like Prince Charming with the crystal slipper, waiting for his Cinderella to see if the shoe fits. No, he said, you know what? Screw this guy right here. I'm out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought David did a really great Benavides. That is, I thought he did a really great job of just no longer waiting. No longer waiting, and he understands. See, one thing I like about David Benavides is that he's a reasonable dude. You know, and he's very personable as well, where he sees it from like Canelo's point of view. He's like, if Canelo doesn't necessarily need to fight me, and he gets that, and he's just like he can basically dictate everything. But Benavidez is like, well, WBC is mandatory, bro. You either strip him, I just want the title. And he understands probably when Mauricio called him, and they're like, hey, look, dude, Canelo's the cash cow right now. It's his moment. To be honest with you, I don't want to strip him because we're gonna lose out on a lot of money. Let's just say, And David Benavidez is like, yeah, I get it. He's doing all of these things. So he just like, well, what's the next path that I can become a champion? He sure as hell can't make 160. So he goes to 175, fights Alexander Volstik. Doesn't look that great. He looks human. We saw that he overcompensates for his power. And against David Morrell, to your point, Speed and Drew, he hasn't really fought anybody, and he's also a 168 pounder that doesn't have that great experience, but looks like he has the promising goods, and he is explosive, fast and strong and young. So it should be a really good fight for David. And if he can't beat David Morrell, then he has no chance of beating Dmitry Bivol or Artur Beterbiev, let alone Canelo,
True,
if he can't
true.
beat David Morrell. So David Benavidez is doing the proper things that he needs to do for self-realization whether he's the goods or not, you know. So it's gonna be very intriguing to see. And like Drew said, David, if he wants to get the Canelo fight, needs to beat Beterbiev.
That's the
And
big guy.
once he gets
The
those
number one guy.
titles, then Canelo will be
Yep.
like, now David Benavidez has something that I want, and I would like to fight him now. And then now the power comes to Benavidez, where he can probably negotiate
Yeah, and I wasn't
60-40,
and I wasn't
50-50, you
and I
know?
was and I wasn't trying to say like it's impossible for that fight to happen. I'm just saying he needs to beat the number one guy in Beterbiev,
Yeah.
you know, and
Whoa.
Adi Medi goes like this.
Man, I like how this guy thinks. He's not
Do you
leaving any stone unturned.
Do you guys think that he'll take on Jamal Charlo or Diego Pacheco? Who's Martinez? Martinez versus Alvarez.
No, I think he's talking about Sergio Martinez. I don't know.
No, Maravilla.
Eddie Medi is messing with us, man.
Nah, I hope he doesn't fight Maravilla Martinez.
No, he's retired.
Do you think that he'll fight Jamal Charlo? I don't mind that fight. I do mind it now. You know, Jamal needs at least like 2 or 3 tune-ups just to really assess where he's at.
Lester Martinez.
You know, his last fight was against Jose Benavidez Jr., and he couldn't knock him down or knock him out. So, he's talking about Lester Martinez. Yeah. I mean, again, if Canelo's intent is to have this world tour, go to the UK and fight in against Chris Eubank, go to Japan and fight over there, go to Argentina and fight Lester Martinez and take pictures with Lionel Messi, then he can do that. I don't necessarily mind it. You know, these are good fights where Canelo is going to get a knockout, more or less. And who doesn't like a knockout? Just don't make it on pay-per-view. You know, it's really that simple. But yeah, man, there's still a lot of fights left for Canelo. But if he's trying to just like play hard to get and not really honor being a true undisputed champion, you see, two things that I don't like about undisputed fighters. One of the reasons you become undisputed is so nobody knows anybody else as a champion. You don't have the right to call anybody else a champion at the weight class. There's only one person, me. I'm undisputed. I have all the belts. I'm the only champion. What I don't like, what happens after those facts, is 2 things. A bunch of mandatories that are just waiting for the call to fight the champion and not fight one another. And what I also don't like is that champion, it's not like he's interested in fighting those mandatories. So then he immediately relinquishes the belt, defeating the purpose of your title defenses. You become undisputed so you can have all these mandatories and fight them. And like when I look at Josh Taylor, he went through an amazing road, beating guys like Grigas Prograis, Ryan Martin, Jose Ramirez, all of these guys, and then immediately gets stripped of almost all of his belts. I don't like that. Usyk, I think he had to relinquish one of them, and it was for Daniel Dubois and AJ. And it's just like, so if once you fight Tyson Fury, is undisputed on the line again, or is it not? So it loses almost the significant impact of it, So like for Canelo, it's like, bro, you went through, in 2021, 2022, you knocked out all of these dudes, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, to then not fight William Score? Why? That's your mandatory. No one says that you have to make it on a pay-per-view. It's not like your last couple of fights are pay-per-view worthy. I mean, they're still selling well, but it's just like, I don't think Edgar Berlanga fight was a pay-per-view worthy fight. Neither did I think the Jaime Munguia or the Jermell Charlo fight, I just think those are just regular fucking fights. And so it's just like, I don't know. William Score fits up there. But yeah, I don't know. Really good questions, Adi. I'm not too sure. There's a lot of fights that Canelo said maybe last year, 2 years ago, that he has 4 to 5 years left. And my fight during that time, I think he was like pretty much at the age of 37. That's when he's gonna retire. But in reality, this man can fight guys like Jake Paul, Conor McGregor. He can continue to fight these guys and do much more pay-per-view numbers than a fight with David Benavidez. So again, I don't know, man. Like I said,
his last fight
over Canelo's career already. But yeah,
I
go
think
for it, Drew.
I think that'll be his last fight, Jake Paul.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Yeah, I think that'll be his I think he'll somewhat retire after like he loses one more time. I think he loses one more time and he's done. Like I think whoever he loses to, he'll be like, "You know what? I'm gonna fight Jake Paul next. Let me get that bag, and I'm pretty much walking off in the sunset type of thing. But he wants to. I feel like he'd rather lose to somebody that he tried to beat. Like or somebody that they doubted him in. Like something like Beterbiev, bro. Like if he at least tries to beat him, and I think he's willing to do that and get the L, bro, and just walk off in the sunset, and just sell a lot of pay-per-views based on speculation and people thinking that Canelo can actually beat somebody like Beterbiev, and after that, easy money with Jake Paul.
Well, I think okay. First off, I like the creativity, guys. We really do have to ask right now whether or not Canelo would fight Jake Paul. Here's the thing. I
I
think
think he
I
will.
think he would
He will.
fight. I think he would fight
10-4
Jake Paul
Yankees.
if Jake Paul kills Mike Tyson.
Wait,
I
what?
think if Jake Paul kills Mike Tyson in the ring,
It's in the
next month or
contract
whatever.
already.
I know if he kills Mike Tyson next month or whatever, I think he would definitely fight Jake Paul. But let's ask the thing, right? Because I think Dream brought up a scenario. Ouch! Oh my goodness! The ump just took a big old baseball to the face, and he got up all mad, like all frustrated. Anyways, 10-4, guys. Yankees are up. So we have to ask ourselves, right? Because this is what Dream is saying. He is saying that Canelo would take on a fight that he would lose as long as he knows that he can, that it's expected that he will lose, right? Because maybe he's big, the guy he's going to be fighting is bigger, a very risky fighter, so forth and so on, like Arthur Beterbiev, right? Okay, that makes sense. So now we have to ask ourselves, when he decided to fight Dmitry Bivol, we have to ask ourselves whether he decided to fight that guy because he wanted to test himself to prove how great he was, knowing that there is a possibility that he could have lost to Bivol, or is it what a lot of people believe it was, that he was taking on, what he thought was what was it? What do they call it? Something gone wrong, a soft touch gone wrong, or whatever it's called, right? Um, because you have to ask yourself, when Canelo decided to fight Beterbiev, was he really trying to test himself, or was he looking at him like a soft touch? Like, this guy, he's fought nobody. He doesn't knock out anybody. His style is very simple, straight up and down. He's not very mobile. He doesn't retreat and circle around like, like, I don't know, Ruslandy Lara. He stays pretty much in the.
Still there?
Yo, speed. You cut off, man. Your battery died, man. Your battery died.
Yeah, man. All right, man. All right. So it looks like I'll
His mic is off.
yeah,
So
it
he
looks like
received a call.
yeah, he probably
What about you, Drew? What do you see? I don't know. Switching the topic up a little bit from
yeah.
Canelo Alvarez. I feel like David Benavidez has much more fights that he can make. Dude, he can have a fight with Jaime Munguia. He can fight
Yeah.
Edgar Berlanga, right?
Mm-hmm.
David Morrell, Bivol, Beterbiev. Like, who cares about what Canelo can do? Look at the talent pool that David Benavidez can fight, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this dude's got options. Even guys like Christian and Billy. I mean, he can't fight his boy Diego Pacheco, but even Eric Bazinian and get these knockouts or whatever the case may be. William Skull, bro.
Mhm.
Like even David Benavidez, if he gets beat by David Morrell, he go back to 168 and fight William Skull, get an IBF belt, try to call out Canelo and unify that way. Like, bro, he's got options. If I'm David Benavidez, I'm like, damn, bro, now I have options, and it's not just all roads lead to Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, man. I think you're right. Benavidez just he just extended his options pretty much, and he picked that over waiting for a big money fight in Canelo. He just wants consistent money, and I get it. It's just you now it's like in shambles now, like the Canelo fight. So it was more, I feel like it was more pressure on Canelo to have that fight happen for his legacy rather than Benavidez. I feel like it doesn't impact his obviously his career in a negative way, just because he's the one getting ducked in a sense, or that's the consensus at least. So I think Benavidez has a plethora of fucking options, bro. He can,
Hell yeah.
he can fight. He needs to deal with the prospects and the guys that people think that are those dudes, like the Morels, like the what else is that 175? Maybe like a
Dude, he couldn't even fight Jamal Charlo.
you know. Oh, you know who I want? I want him versus Yarde.
Oh, Anthony Yard.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that fight can happen. I had to start thinking about,
I'll be right back, bro. I'm gonna go use the restroom. But you keep
Go for
going.
it.
I'll hear you, man. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if Billy's top rank. Well, I wasn't talking about Billy. I was talking about Yard. Yeah, maybe that fight could happen. Maybe it can be like a Saudi card or something. But that's an interesting fight. I do feel this is the thing, bro. And I'm not sure if you can hear me from the bathroom stall. Uh, I feel like Benavidez can lose to some of those guys, bro. Like the Yards, um, maybe even the Mobilis, bro. Because Mobili's like a I'm not gonna say a prototype of Canelo, but he's built like him. He's muscular like him. He's strong. So if you were to fight him, fuck, he's top ranked though. Um, if that were to happen, just fantasizing, I guess we would get a lot of you know, clues as to how a Canelo fight would go down. Also, well, Berlong is at 168, so I would have liked that, but Berlanga got Caleb problems and McCumby problems and all sorts of problems physically. And no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, now he's at 175, bro. Morel, I mean, that fight's already gonna go down. I think that fight is, what people wanted him out of his career. Like he wanted obviously it was Canelo, but that was that other guy was Morel. So he's getting that out of the way, which is good. Um, yeah, man, it's just he's got to pick wisely. I feel like there's a
Who,
lot of
David?
yeah, there's a lot of dogs, bro, at 175 that can
Yeah,
surprise him. So
I agree. Starts with David Moreau. I think David Moreau could be David Benavidez, to be honest with you, man.
really, but I think Morel isn't ready for a lot of those other guys either, though. I don't think he's ready for
Well, they're young. I think both David Morrell and David Benavidez are like 26, 27 years old. So they have time, they have time to, whether they lose, it would be a setback, but they're very young, and as long as they don't take that loss like, oh man, it's the end of the world. But yeah, man. Hey, Speed, my check, bro.
Yeah. Did you guys get to hear the question that I asked when I asked whether or not Bieber was supposed to be a soft touch gone wrong for Canelo, or did you guys address that already?
I'm not too sure if Drew addressed it. I know that Adi Medi responded with a cherry pick gone wrong. But
Cherry
yeah,
pick. There you
no.
go.
I mean, even then, if it is a cherry pick gone wrong, who cares? That thing already happened. Like we've already known that for a really long time, Canelo should not be fighting north of 160. The fact that he can dominate at 168 just kind of lets you know how inadequate those 168 pounders are. you know. And we look back at the history at 168, for what, this is my opinion. I don't think Andre Ward is that great of a fighter. I think he's a very good boxer, but I think, the guys that he beat like Arthur Abraham, even Carl Froch. These are decent fighters. Carl Froch might be really good, but this is a guy that ultimately went life or death with George Groves. And George Groves, if I'm not mistaken, looked horrible against Callum Smith, and Callum Smith looked horrible against Canelo and Artur Beterbiev. Now, this is a lot of speculation, but basically what I'm saying is, I think, bro, Andre Ward couldn't even knock out Sergey Kovalev, and Canelo slept him. Right now, I understand that was a younger, dangerous Kovalev, and that was a much older, Kovalev that Canelo fought. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that highly of Andre Will's skills. He's a good boxer, very crafty, very boring. Honestly, Caleb Plant, I feel Caleb Plant is much more athletic, and probably much of a bigger puncher than Andre Ward. I would just say that Andre Ward is much more craftier. Is that a fair assessment or no?
I think he's got more heart than Caleb. I think he was able to take a punch better than Caleb. I think he's smarter, bro. Like, he knows what to do with his hands. I think you are tripping.
Yeah, no. When it comes down to using his hands, yeah, I would say Andre Ward is much more craftier, especially in the clinch game. He has a meaner. He smothers good and he smothers well. But to be fair, those fighters that he did that against, guys like Sakio Bika, Edwin Rodriguez, they're not athletic like Billy Joe Saunders. They're not athletic like a Caleb Plant. I'm gonna put it to you like this: Canelo Alvarez has fought guys like Andre Ward, guys like a Carl Froch and a George Groves and a Sergey Kovalev. He's fought guys like that. No, he has.
He's never fought a gold medalist.
What do you mean?
A light heavyweight gold medalist. Like, he's never fought a dude.
Who was the gold medalist that Andre Ward fought?
Himself. I don't know.
No. I know that you're saying that Andre Ward is a gold medalist. No, I hear you, but he's fought other guys that are from that background, whether it's a silver medalist or bronze, like Floyd Mayweather. Whether it's I think Billy Joe Saunders was actually a gold medalist in the British Olympic Games. Not the gold medal from the Olympics, but like the Pan American Games. So even what I'm trying to say is Andre Ward never really fought even athletic fighters like himself. Canelo has a few, like Erislandy Lara, Floyd Mayweather, Austin Trout, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, Dimitri Bivol. You know what I mean? Andre Ward didn't do that. Name me one slick, ultimately slick black fighter that Andre Ward fought. Actually, let me look at that. Let me look up his box rec, because Andre Ward box rec, because I don't think he did that. He just beat a bunch of 168 pounders. And I'm not trying to be dismissive, but he fought Kovalev twice and retired. Alexander Brand, I think we went to go watch that fight. That was the Colombian. That was Oracle Arena, Oakland. He fought Sullivan Barrera, the Cuban. Paul Smith, Edwin Rodriguez, Chad Dawson, okay, black slick fighter. Carl Froch, okay, pretty rudimentary, fought like with his hand down. Arthur Abraham, Sakio Bika, Alan Green, Mikhail Kessler, Edison Miranda, Ruben Williams, Roger. See what I'm saying? Darnell Boone, 6
sounds like a hard drop. Sounds like a Hall of Fame career to me.
No. Whether he's going to be a Hall of Famer, yeah, they'll probably make him into the Hall of Fame, because what he did at 168, he won.
He's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he won the Super 8 tournament when he beat Arthur Abraham, Sakio Bika, Carl Froch, and all of those dudes. But I mean, if you compare that Hall of Fame resume to what Canelo Alvarez has done, to what Bud Crawford has done, this list of names are mediocre. You know what I mean?
Super mediocre.
Like, let's talk about Sergey Kovalev. The first fight, Sergey Kovalev beat you, right? And then the second fight, you were beating him, and then you wobbled the fuck out of him, and then you finished the fight with like 10-5 illegal low blows that Kovalev protected himself. That as it may, that's what happened. Canelo fucking slept him in his 5th or 6th weight class. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I would probably say guys like Carl Froch are probably better than all of those dudes that Canelo fought at 168. I would say Carl Froch is better than Billy Joe Saunders, probably better than Caleb Plant, but not so much better. Like Carl Froch went life or death with, George Groves. And
Didn't he
George
beat?
Groves ain't all that. You know what I mean?
Didn't Carl Froch beat that gold medalist from Britain? What's his name? He also fought. God, I got that. I'm looking it up right now. He retired already a couple years ago. Uh, he I forgot his name, but he's
Andy
like a
Lee.
who?
No, Andy Lee. No, he's not a gold medalist.
No, he
No,
probably
but
Lucian Bute, but he didn't even the
no.
best, honestly, the best 168 pounder is that guy from New Zealand or Australia, Southpaw. He beat Bernard Hopkins and Jermaine Taylor. Um, he retired undefeated, like 48-0. What's his name?
Wow. Joe Calzaghe.
Joe Calzaghe. There we go.
Oh yeah,
Wow,
Galzagi.
what a
Joe
Yeah,
crazy
Calzaghe is
record.
probably the best 168 pounder. You know what I mean?
No, he
yeah,
had a
bro. I
record
had
of
to say
49 and
so.
0, 49 and
I
0.
had to say
Okay,
And
there
so
we
too.
go.
Canelo, Mayweather wanted to make sure he got a 50 and 0 just to beat that guy because he didn't want to be second fiddle to anybody, right? So, okay, going back, look, listen, this is Adi Medi's proposal, right? He said, Eubank, Mall Charlo, and Cowboy Stadium, and then a Bud Turbiev or Benavides as retirement for a Canelo career. I think that would definitely be a farewell tour, right? Because it has a little bit of everything. It has a couple of money making softer touch fights, Mel Charlo, Chris Eubank. Those are the money fights,
Money maker.
the opening up the market fights. You know, the fights that he obviously has advantages over because one of them hasn't fought at the championship level in years. The other one has been having problems with alcoholism, family matters, and all of those things. So he would definitely have an advantage of those guys. Hey, Canelo deserves it, right? He's been testing himself harder than anybody in sports in what 5, 10 years, right?
Who's
So he deserves that. Um, but then this is where I have a bit of a contention with. After Eddie Medi goes off on these two names right here, which do make logical sense for a person that doesn't need to prove anything else, he brings up Terrence Bud Crawford. Now let's think about it, guys. We know that Canelo
James
fights
Miguel.
twice a year.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. He fights twice a year. That would mean that he already fought his two fights this year. So that would mean that he would have to take on a Bud fight like around May of 2026. This would make Terrence Bud Crawford what? Like 39 years old, right? Somewhere around the 39 years old, as a matter of fact. And then to top it off, after waiting that off, he would have to, according to Arimedi, take on Beterbiev or Benavides as a retirement. Now, that would mean Canelo would be like what, 36? And Beterbiev would be what, 42-ish? 41, 42-ish. Um, and Benavides, we might not even know where he's at by that moment. He might have lost to Morel. He might have tested himself out against Bivol. Why not? You already lost your O. Let's start taking on the harder fights. Just try and pick ourselves up. Lost to Beterbiev. We don't know where he would be by then. Those names are not necessarily promised to be the next big thing in 2 or 3 years, right? So I would have to say, guys, if Canelo wants to, you know, call it a night, go on a farewell tour, he would have to fight Terence Bud Crawford right now, right? Just to get the money, clear out that name. It's an easy fight, fool everybody, make big money, appease Turkey Ali Sheik and all those multi-millions. Take Bud out of there. Chris Eubank probably sounds more, logical, but you can pick or choose. Both of them are about the same thing. And in fact, both of them are sparring partners, Bud and Eubank. Charlo, yes, but Beterbiev, if he wants to have a Beterbiev fight, it would have to be now. Because when he's 41, we're not assured that Beterbiev would even be fighting by then. He fights once a year, gets injured every single time, and I'm not too sure if he would wake himself up for a Canelo because guess what? When he beat Bivol, they asked him about Canelo. And he pretty much shrugged it off. He basically said something to the effect of, he's a little guy, right? He doesn't care for that. He cares about big fights. So yeah, look, guys, Dream said something. He said he believes Canelo would call it a day after testing himself very hard on a fighter that he would likely lose to, which would be Beterbiev. And then after getting that last loss there, he would say, you know what? I'm going to call it a night. Let me beat up on Jake Paul. So again, I go back to the question. When Canelo Alvarez decided to test himself against the Dimitri Bivol, which a lot of people ended up calling a cherry pick gone wrong. Was he doing it to test himself against the toughest fighter there? Or was he really cherry picking? Because now we have to ask ourselves the next move that Canelo makes, is it to test himself or is it to cherry pick? We really have to ask ourselves that because as a boxing fan, we have to know whether or not we're going to start sponsoring this guy's career going forward. We can't just pay big money to see a shoe and Hall of Famer continue to do more things. And the other thing is this: you have to ask yourself, can Canelo, with the names out there, Morel, Benavides, maybe 175 Bivol, maybe 175 Beterbiev, and all those guys, can Canelo's career resemble at the end somebody like Roy Jones Jr., somebody who people would have said he would have gone down there as one of the greatest of all time, but he pushed his luck. He went too high. He started to lose very, very badly, and nobody remembers him except for his defeats.
Not sure.
Yeah, man.
Kind of a hard question to answer, you know.
Yeah, that's a
But
hard
do you guys
one.
think Roy Jones Jr. is one of the best ever?
No.
When he's on
Oh yeah, I
steroids,
mean yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Hey, for him to do steroids in the United States is pretty hard because not a lot of people are getting away with it.
during that during that time, everybody was getting away with it.
Everybody was getting away.
Players were getting away with it. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds. They didn't care about steroids in sports. You know.
Hey, but Billy's on steroids, but look how much he sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I mean, like, look, everyone says that James Toney is this amazing fighter and that he would beat Canelo Alvarez. And then my thing is, yeah, he's a great fighter. He's got great Philly show, throws a lot of punches, and he's fucking strong. But he's probably on steroids. And then so was Roy Jones. Like these dudes got caught with that. Same thing like Mosley. So these guys got officially caught on steroids. You know. Now you can be like, well, Canelo's been on clenbuterol. Yeah, but it wasn't popped for steroids, right? So again, like maybe maybe all of these guys are on it, but I don't know. I think Canelo's like Roy Jones, James Toney. These are big men. These are big men that are tall and very strong. But it'd be good fights. But I think if we're talking about a very physical prime, Roy Jones that lunges and leaps, yeah, it'll be very tough. But if we're talking about not the prime Roy Jones, where he loses a little bit of speed, Canelo also knocks his ass out. But yeah, Roy Jones moved up from light heavyweight to all the way to fucking heavyweight and beat guys like John Ruiz. So yeah, obviously his weight is very good, and his skills are very good. That's one thing that you can't deny about Roy Jones. But it'd be a very interesting fight for sure. But I don't know. To answer your question about would he be remembered by his wins or losses, it just depends on how Canelo goes out. And like you guys have established, you guys don't see a lot of people knocking out Canelo.
Well,
So I
look
think
at
he'll be remembered more by his wins or the controversial ones.
yeah, but look at Roy though. Like he lost to Tarver. Like there's a highlight reel, him getting knocked out by Tarver. Um, and he's still remembered as one of the greats, bro. Like literally,
In that fight, he got disqualified, right? He hit him like in the back of the head or some shit.
no, but he lost I think unanimously, or he got knocked out actually. So it's on the box rec, like he got knocked out. So he's he's got that on his record. It's not played a lot, that highlight. All we remember him by is one of the greatest, boxers of all time, one of the most athletic boxers of all time. You know, so he was a true athlete. He was I wouldn't say NFL running back playing in boxing, but dude was built. You know,
Mhm.
so yeah, bro. I think with Canelo, he can't be afraid of that. It's just because there's already a highlight reel of him getting outclassed by Floyd. We're always gonna remember that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy was white.
That's my son trying to play Warp Speed.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. It's because the
Ladies and
Yankees beat.
gentlemen.
Yeah, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen," is like the Yankees beat the Dodgers 11-4. You know what, guys? I wanted to ask you guys something. Okay, now that you guys are on ped use, now that you guys are on steroids, right? Talking on that steroid thing.
Yeah, we've gotten over here now. Fuck.
Yeah. No, well, it's fine because I just wanted to bring up something, right? Um, there's this
How did
video
we get
that
here?
the Screaming Madman made about Ben Whitaker, right? Ben Whitaker and Liam Cameron. Now, when you guys remember Roy Jones Jr., do you guys remember him to be an arrogant, cocky showboat? Or do you guys remember him just like a very skilled fighter that was able to do whatever he wanted, but he never actually was a braggart?
You know what I'm always remember him by is his greatness,
Mhm.
obviously, but is his he can talk however he wants to, right? As far as the words he uses, because it's how he uses it. He's never talking down on anybody. Like it's never like cocky. It comes off as cocky. He's talking about himself. He never talks bad about his opponents. He says he's a great fighter, but I'm better. He's like that. He's cocky in his righteous way, or he was, so his accent, I'm always remember his accent, so
And he had a rap song.
I also missed that in his like about commentary. Just I've always remembered him, because I'm 94 baby. Like I think one of the first fights I was watching was on HBO, and he was like I felt like he was like I found out later that it was Roy Jones Jr. commentating at a young age. I just remember somebody talking and watching fights, and then I was like, oh, it's that guy. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, oh shit, he's on YouTube. He has a Can't Be Touched song. Oh, damn. Like
It
MySpace
can't
days.
be touched.
Yeah, like he has MySpace day on MySpace days, bro. Like that's like I feel like his music popped off because of those MySpace days. And a lot of
Mhm.
people were using that for their profiles. And I just feel like he came up that way. That's how he reached out to me. And I also was playing Fight Night as a kid too on PSP. So like he's always gonna be in my childhood. Not only that, I've happened to grow into the sport, like literally the past 5 years, like I've gotten the most knowledgeable of this sport, and I've come to realize how great Roy is. And
Yeah, but do you guys remember him as being a showboat? Not as
no,
a commentator, not over here.
no,
I'm talking about in the ring.
he was executing. He was
Yeah, that's the thing.
executing,
And, like the people that he was beating, knocking them out, like they were really good, fucking credible fighters.
and he
You
was
know, he
executing.
showboated, of course, but his flashiness came from, his fucking amazing punch combinations and, fucking lunging blows from way afar. Where Ben Whitaker, yeah,
Gets touched.
Okay, okay, what about Prince Nassim? Do you guys remember him for being a showboat?
yeah, but I remember him more of the first time that he actually fought a really good fighter.
Mm.
Marco Antonio Barrera happened.
The first time, so everybody else that he fought was whatever, right?
Pretty much. It's the way
I
I
mean, he
see it.
had a fight. He had like 30 something wins. You gonna tell me he fought
But he
30
lacked a
something
lot of
names?
power. He lacked a lot of power, and he didn't hurt dudes. He just confused them.
Oh no, he had power. He was
I don't
very
think he had power.
explosive. He just he was, look, man, just like in anything. There's room for guys that are like gonna be legendary fighters, and there's guys that are gonna be comedians and showmen, and then there's fighters that can do a little bit of both,
Mhm,
legacy and showmanship.
mhm.
It just really depends. right now with Ben Whitaker, I don't think we really have an identity of what it is that he wants to do in terms of a boxing professional. Other than like I said earlier, well not earlier, but in private, I told you guys like, yeah, man, he's just trying to earn a lot of money, have fun, look good doing it, and go viral like a
Yeah,
young
because see, here's the thing, guys. The video that was made, right? It has it's very controversial if you think about it, right? You have a fighter that has less than 10 fights, and Ben Whitaker. He represented the nation of Britain in the Olympics, and he won them. He brought them home silver, right? How do you make it to the Olympics? You make it to the Olympics by working very hard, taking your craft very serious, taking your natural talents, your God-given talents, maximizing them through hard work and making it work in your behalf. That's how Ben Whitaker got to where he became.
That's
This
why
is
I'm waiting.
Ben. This is
That's
Ben.
why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why
that's why
you're
I'm
waiting for
waiting.
that guy, right? That's
I'm
you're
waiting.
waiting for that guy.
Well, I'm waiting for him to either show out or to prove to me that he's not that guy.
Uh-huh.
Like one or the other. But I'm not gonna speak too soon because he's it's that right there. It's that what you just said, like him going to the Olympics. Like you don't just get lucky.
Yeah.
You beat a certain level, and then
Hmm.
you get to the next level, and you get into these harder fights. That's what I've realized watching Shakur. He was dominant, and then he was good, and then he kind of faced dudes up of his to his level of his opposition, and then he was winning fights still. That's how the cream rises to the top. Like he's risen to the top already, you know. But against a batch of fighters, I don't know how many were in this tournament, but they were the best in the world, you know. So I think I think he just lacks power.
Yeah, so again, I'm getting a lot of kickback because I'm defending Ben Whitaker's decision to, well, I don't know if it was his decision, if he was seriously hurt or hurt enough not to continue the fight. But even if that was the case, I actually approve of Ben Whitaker not having continued on to fight with a very dirty fighter, was taking rabid shots that pushed him out of the ropes. The guy who was close lining him. You know what? If nobody's gonna defend you, right? All you're asking for is a fair shot, right? And there's an out that you could take. It's either, okay, I can continue taking on this dirty fighter who's hitting me in the back of the head, hitting me in the nape of the neck, pushing me out of the ropes, and I'm still gonna give him the right to come over here and continue to bully me when all I'm asking for a fair shot. You know what? He pushed me out. I'm not gonna fight this guy. Screw this guy. I approve of that. But because I'm defending him and I'm bringing out the fact that Liam Cameron presented such a risk that Ben Whitaker could have hurt himself, just because I point out that it was dirty, that Liam Cameron was acting like that. Because of that, people decide to say that I'm a defender for a quitter, right? And they're overlooking a lot of glaring things about about Liam Cameron. Liam Cameron has a history of rabbit punching individuals. In fact, if you look at his box rec, he has fights, at least I counted one, where he had been deducted points because of rabbit punches. There was another fight that he won, but then he ended up having it declared a loss on a technicality because he ended up popping for drugs. Now, when I investigated a bit more about what kind of drugs this guy was on, can you guys believe this guy was on coke, metabolites, whatever cocaine metabolites are? He was on some type of trace elements of coke. And you know how long his suspension was, guys? 4 years. 4 long years in the career of a fighter that was barely getting his traction going, right? Now, this is not, this is not performance enhancement in the way of steroids or anabolic steroids or those things that make you lose weight. He was snorting coke. He lost four
Who
years
was?
of his professional. Liam Cameron. He lost 4 years of his professional career because somebody said, you know what, coke is such a bad drug that I'm gonna punish you for that. Now, the one thing is this: maybe he hurt the guy very, very bad, And it was such an offensive attack and aggression that probably could not make any other sense except that perhaps he was all loaded up on goofballs. But I think it was very unfair that they suspended him for such a long time. Now, after he came back, he had a soft touch. Then he immediately was thrown in there with a fighter that was, at that moment, if I'm not mistaken, still undefeated, and Lyndon Johnson. Oh, no, wait, actually, Lyndon Johnson had just barely lost to Bivol. He fought Lyndon Johnson. He shed all this weight after he became depressed, blew up in weight. He started to run marathons, sucked down to light heavyweight, fought Lyndon Arthur, and then he fought this undefeated fighter with 10 fights. Now, here's the thing, guys. You know us. We like to respect our fighters. All I'm saying is Ben Whitaker was asking for a fair fight, and he wasn't getting it, and now they're calling him a quitter. And in the case of Liam Cameron, they suspended him for 4 years off of a simple snorting over cocaine. And other words, right? He is a dirty fighter. But people are justifying his dirtiness because we're supposed to want this type of fight, right? Now, they hail Cameron as this guy that overcame drugs and all that stuff, and he's just trying to make ends meet and he's taking himself seriously. And I'm thinking to myself, if you took yourself seriously in the sport, would you be doing cocaine? Would you have blown up in weight? Would you be cheating and fighting dirty, knowing that you can get suspended again? And how come everybody overlooks the fact that it takes a fighter like Ben Whitaker to go to the Olympics, and all he did was show off in one fight, guys? There's one or two fights that he showboated on. Otherwise, he's always fought fair and square, never acted like a braggart, never acted like
He
a
shows off in all of the
showboat.
fights. That's what he
No,
does.
no, he only does that in 2 fights, bro. I went through his resume. I was looking
Not
through
true.
fights.
Then you're not watching enough. Nice. I don't even know.
Just because he beats up on a guy and then he decides to showboat, that's fine. And people are criticizing him because he decided not to showboat against Cameron. They're like, see, he couldn't showboat against Cameron. I'm like, of course he couldn't. The guy was taller, longer than him. He was bigger than him and had 30 fights experience. Of course he's not going to
Exclusive.
showboat.
Excuses. Pernell Whitaker, showboat, and Julio Cesar Chavez and Oscar De La Hoya. Excuses. You're a quitter sympathizer.
No, look, this is it. Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know about that. I don't know about the quitter
God.
sympathizer. Okay, like, you can run with that. You can run with that. But no, I was thinking those guys though are known, like Prince Nassim and a couple of other guys that you guys can name probably are doing it at a higher, like consistently. They're doing it consistently, and it's like, okay, this is like we want to see a clean fight, you know, but like, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I'm pretty sure historians can like point out who, you know, who was like showing off and dancing like a lot. Wasn't there a Mexican dude that danced a lot, like had a goofy style?
Yeah,
Maromero Paz.
Yeah, him. So like shit like that, you know. But how did he do? Like he was good, right?
Yeah, he
Or
was.
Yeah, he was very good.
world champion.
I think he retired Hector Macho Camacho. Knocked him out, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, no, he was good. Yeah, so shit like that. He was showboaty, but he did it. He did it with the mixture of like with like he didn't do it to where like he was like unaware of things. He was always aware of things. With Pernell, he turned his back on dudes. It's like, bro, that's so stupid. You know, like that's so stupid, bro. Do it again for me, please. You know, like so I can just come up and turn the corner on you and I'll be on your blind side, you know? So shit like that worries me. How consistent are you going to be doing that? You know, like, and yeah, you can do it as long as you're executing, you know? I think that's where the currency's at, right? Is where like with all the hatred, people want to see you lose now, you know? So
Exactly.
you're gambling, you know, it's a gamble. That's what that is. So you can take it however you want, but he just hit the slot machine, you know, and he keeps winning. So that's what it is when he does that.
Closing statements.
What?
Closing statements. What are your guys' closing statements?
On Purnell or the whole like closing
Yeah,
statements as you're gonna.
like the whole show.
Oh, got you. Go ahead, Speed. I'll let you go first. Well, nah, you
Well,
go. You take a long time. Hold on. Let me do me.
well, no. I'll make it short. Shakur Stevens. Uh, it's pathetic that he's calling out Abdullah Mason for a fight.
What?
Hmm?
Yeah, that's he says that he's willing to fight Abdullah Mason, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know you are.
Well,
Right?
this is the thing. Well, you just opened the can of worms now.
Where'd you hear that from? Yeah.
What do you mean? It's right here. It just barely dropped. It barely dropped a couple of hours ago. Shakur Stevens says he'd fight Abdullah Mason. It's actually a report just dropped like maybe an hour or so. Written by Robbie Banatine. We read about the guy. He says he'd like to fight. He says he respects 20-year-old Abdullah Mason, and he thinks he shouldn't be rushed by Top Rank in his career. I'm not too sure if he's implying he is being rushed or put on the fast track, but he is also saying that that he wouldn't mind fighting the guy, right?
That's
Mason is so I don't know, whatever. I'm just saying, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. The thing about somebody like Shakur Stevens, see, here's the thing. We know that Shakur Stevens is very skillful. He knows how to use his physical attributes, his hard work ethic. We know he's very good, but he's too cautious. So we don't want to see him. We don't want to see him fight because if you're longer, rangier, faster, more reflexive than the next individual, we want you to destroy him, right? We don't want you to use those attributes of yours to make the fight a boring caution first fight. No, because we're here to entertain, not to watch you win. I have no vested interest in you winning just for the sake of winning. I'm here to see some action. But because he's like that, he's unable to get a lot of very good fights going. Unfortunately, that has him speaking like how he has, saying that he really wouldn't mind fighting somebody like Abdullah Mason. When? I'm not too sure. I'm not saying he's saying it now, but he does say that he is a great fighter, a great young fighter. He doesn't think that they should rush him. I think they're doing exactly what they're doing with him, which is fine according to him, giving him the right fights, working him up, and he respects him. But he also, of course, ended up that thing by saying that he wouldn't mind fighting the guy. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but hey, a lot of it has to do with him. What are my closing thoughts on that? It's unfortunate, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him speaking like a clown.
All right, my turn. This is my closing statement. Um, I think I think Benavidez fucked up horribly uh, by moving up. I think he wasn't real to himself. I think there's a lot of dudes in his ear telling him how how really good he is um, instead of saying how cautious they are. I think I think you need people like that instead. Um, and I think he don't hit like that. He not hitting like that. This is like Teofimo going up to 140. He's not hitting like that. Um, and I don't think he gets to fight Better Biev. Therefore, I don't think he's ever gonna fight Canelo because of that. Um, I think it's I, I don't think he
bold
even gets.
statement.
I don't think he gets the what's it called, the opportunity to fight a dude like actually no, because of Turkey. So he could happen, but
Turkey.
because yeah, Turkey got the money, so it could happen, but he don't beat him. He don't beat him. He don't beat Bivol. He don't beat Beterbiev. I think Yard is a tough fight. And I think Vozdek fight said a lot, and I think the Vozdek fight had Canelo saying, "I fucking knew it," I know I can, he fucked up, not me. So, I think his dad even said he wanted him to stay there, so that says a lot right there. So, I don't think he's ever. I think he's gonna disappoint. I think he's trying to make it up by fighting David Morrell, and he'd probably beat him. But I won't be surprised. I'm staying away from that fight actually, as a betting man. So I'm hoping. I don't know what to hope for. I just want big fights to happen, but he better win that fight, and he better hope Bivol beats Beterbiev in a rematch, because he has a better chance of beating him than he does Beterbiev. So that's
Yeah.
it. That's
Good.
it.
What about you, homie? Let's hear your closest statements, man.
That's it, man. That's pretty much. I feel like you guys have covered it. I feel like yeah, my voice is a little shaky, but yeah, I feel like you guys have covered it. I don't. I think
It's really
Shakur
dead.
should look to fight William Zepeda or Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez he be talking reckless.
Hey, what are you guys gonna be for Halloween?
I think it's one of these black fighters. There should be one of their motivations to go fuck up Orion Garcia and Teofimo for using the N word loosely and how they go about very disrespectfully. You know, Um the same energy that Bud Crawford has towards Canelo, Teofimo has towards Bud. And the same reason why Bud don't want to fight Teofimo is the same reason Canelo don't want to fight Bud Crawford. So I just feel like, again, it's all about being consistent, and sometimes you got to stand on principle. And I feel like none of these fighters are standing on principle, looking to shut up Ryan Garcia or Teofimo Lopez. They let them yap. It's just Ryan being Ryan. Well, what the fuck does that mean? And it's no excuse. Oh, well, what do you mean? These are almost 30-year-old men, and you're letting them just yap their lips, talking that ish. No, I don't even know, guys. But I think it would be nice to see one of these guys, step up to the plate and see if they can shut them up. Because obviously Ryan Teofimo is on top of the world, and if
Yeah.
you do like that, that means that they're really confident in their ability. So that's one of the things that I would like to see happen in some of these fights. But who knows? I don't
Last
know.
question I have for you, homie. Last question for you, Dream. Straight up and down, one answer. Halloween. What are you guys gonna be?
Jack the Pumpkin King.
What about you, Dream?
So tired of the same old.
What happened?
What are you gonna be for Halloween?
A sumo.
Nice. All right. All right. I'm gonna be a big mouth.
What?
A big
There's
mouth?
yeah, I saw a mask on Facebook. It's a used mask. It's $6, but it's a big mouth. It's just like a whole big old skin that covers your head, and it's a big old mouth, like a big old ugly opened up mouth with huge teeth and blood all over. It's gonna be a big mouth. My face is gonna be a big mouth. Okay, because that's what I do, right? All I do is have a big mouth, and I just talk all day.
Is that true? You have a
Ladies
big
and gentlemen, yeah, for the most part. Ladies and gentlemen,
Like your son
Good evening,
said,
Paul.
ladies and gentlemen.
hey, they want to hear you say, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. But like more speed.
Huh?
Say-
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening for the one and all.
That's good, man.
All right, man. I'll let you guys go then. Or you're gonna leave, right? Or
Yeah, I'm out, bro. I see you guys.
All right, man.
All right,
Rick,
guys,
you're
have
up.
a good night, man. I'll
All
see
right,
you
man.
guys on the
Peace.
next one.
Good
Peace.
evening, for.